shameful self-promoter, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice. We're going to mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Graham?
That's right.
And Bo O'Brien.
Shit, yeah.
So I was thinking about it when Kaelin was coming in. First off, I don't know his real first name, but he was named Kato after Bruce Lee's character in The Green Hornet.
Oh.
Like the guy, sidekick. Guy went and got stuff done.
Brian Gerard Kaelin.
Well, there you are. So
Why
Kato
would you
better.
pick it from Brian? Come on.
At least he spelled it right.
So with an I. So we'll talk to him and Tom Zenner. We'll get caught up on some of the gossip, but also I had this thought. I was like, oh, I remember the KLSX days. I ended up going to work for KLSX a decade or so later, but KLSX was an FM talk station out here. I don't think they're doing it anymore, but they went talk FM. And they did a lot of stunt casting. Mm-hmm. Now, normally you'd get guys like Gina's father or something in there, you know, somebody who'd made their bones. And there's a thing to talk radio that requires 10,000 hours of experience, but not KLSX. They want stunt casting. And so I said to the guys, I said, Kato was on KLSX. I remember that lineup in the mid-'90s, but find me the lineup.
Susan Olsen, right?
Well, there was, and this is as of August 1995, so we can all think about where we were. I was in a apartment in Toluca Lake, and it was right about the time. It was kind of an interesting time because I was still poor, but there were things on the horizon, finally, you know, other than going and teaching a boxing class for $20 or putting up another dog-eared cedar fence for $15 an hour. There were like stuff's cooking. I'd been at K-Rock for about a year and a few months, maybe 14, 15 months. I was starting to do some syndicated spots for my character where they'd pay me $100 a bit to go down to Ventura and Sepulveda and go into that weird building, a commercial building, and lay down a bunch of stuff on the side. And in my mind, I was living in Toluca Lake, an apartment. We'd gotten booted out of our house in La Crescenta. I still had a roommate, but I was kind of able to drive. I bought a used Honda Civic, like hatchback. Like I was driving a car that had air conditioning and didn't have a lumber rack on it or bed box or crew cab or bench seat. You know, I was like driving a car. Jimmy was like, we had stuff brewing. You know, it was an interesting time, but I still wasn't making any real money, but I was at least the money I was making, or most of it, was in showbiz, sort of quote unquote. I was getting paid $50 a bit on K-Rock to do my comedy. Like,
you're getting paid to talk.
Yeah.
The biggest transition is not getting from $200,000 a year to $1 million a year. It's getting from I'm getting paid to teach traffic school, teach boxing classes, and swing a hammer to I'm getting paid to do comedy, even if it's $36,000 a year.
Right.
I'm getting paid to do comedy. That was, for me, it was like, and what's in the future? I was signed by William Morris, and I guess Loveline was probably not too far off syndicated radio, but
even people who don't know anything about talent agencies know William Morris. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I remember being just blown away that William Morris would come to me, and then we'd have meetings where they'd all show up at a big mahogany table and talk about my future.
Like you said about Dennis Prager, I don't want to live in a world where William Morris knows who I am.
Yes,
of course you probably do.
Yes, and so. Always dedicated to radio, loved listening to talk, would listen to AM talk, but FM, there was a talk station, KLSX, and the lineup, they would have Stern in the morning, and he'd sign off about 10:30, and then Ken Ober from MTV's Remote Control.
That's right. That was one of my favorite shows. Kenny wasn't like the other kids. TV mattered. Nothing else did. Carl said yes, but he said no. Now he's got his own game show, Remote Control.
I didn't
Colin
know
Quinn
there was a
on
theme.
that?
Yeah, Colin Quinn.
Awesome.
No.
Remote Controls, Ken Ober and Susan Olsen from
What a
the
lineup.
Cindy Brady
Yeah.
were together. And then you'd get to the 2 o'clock hour, and that was Kato Kaelin.
This has Jack Silver's fingerprints all over it.
It sure does.
2 to 4. Then the regular guys,
Yeah.
Larry and Eric, who were talk radio guys.
Yeah.
They did a show. It was a good show. They knew how to do it. They're constantly getting in trouble with Jack Silver. Then Connie Church, nobody, Mother Love.
Wow.
Mother Love would come on. Hi, my little children's out there. Like,
Who or what is a mother love?
What, Brian?
I don't actually. I've heard the name. They were in discussion.
Did she have a short-lived talk show?
It sounds like she did.
Not like a TV show?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Connie Church, Chris. We can figure it out. Then comedian Carlos Oscar would come on, and I always remember listening to Carlos at night because somebody told that dude to roll calls. Because what I've learned,
Who could have done that?
what I've learned from all program directors and all TV executives, when in doubt, speed it up. Just get through it. Just go. When they don't have things to say that are constructive or meaningful, their one piece of advice is you got it. They're sort of like conditioning coach in football.
Take a lap.
Higher knees up. Get those knees up faster. That's it. They're not
Low
really
pad wins.
Yeah, they're not really talking about technique or something.
Yes, it's less about specific. Yes, I was just about to say most football coaches are competent, but occasionally they'll just get the guys who goes, low pad wins. It's like, all right, would you like to tell me how to do that?
Get those pads down. Yeah, and so Carlos would be he'd roll those calls, but the funny thing is he'd always set up the subject. Like he'd go, "Have you ever been cheated on by your best girl? Tell me that story. Did you catch that girl cheating on you?" And then the phones would light up, and people would call in and go like, "Oh man, Carlos, one time I was at work, but I went home early for lunch, and I walked in, and my best friend was on top of my girlfriend." And he'd go, "Man, that's cold. All right, have you been cheated on? We'll take your phone calls here." And he'd just go right to the next one, and they'd say, "I got cheated on." He'd go, "Man, that's some cold-blooded stuff." And he'd go right to the next one. And I'm like, I want more backstory here, but somebody told him to pick up the pace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mother Love.
That lineup is a who's who of who.
That's right. And then at midnight, Vox, the rock and roll psychic, would come on.
What?
Yeah, midnight to
Would he
3.
give you your fortune in lyrics?
I don't know.
I have to know everything about Vox.
Oh,
Rock and roll psychic?
Your grandfather. Yeah. Well, thank God they built a stairway to heaven.
Oh.
And
If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed.
that's right. And he said, hey, St. Peter, before you ring the bell, it's a song, it's a deep cut.
Wow.
Anyway, Mother
Been
Love.
a long time since I rock and roll.
That's right. She was the Mother Love is the original host of Forgive or Forget
I remember
from
it.
1982.
The fuck is we're gonna forget?
Do you guys remember this was
Do
one
the
of those
theme song. Brian will kick in.
Forgive and forget with Mother Love. This was like, you have a beef with somebody and then you can either forgive them or like stomp off the stage and forget them. Like,
it was the good part of Maury.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know, and it actually makes me feel better about my own career because I don't feel like I know what any of these people are up to these days, except for Kaelin, who will come in here.
Is
Kato,
Cindy Brady
that is.
dead?
No.
Cindy's.
How the fuck would I
I
know?
don't think so.
And Ken Ober, don't know what they're up to, and Mother Love. And I think the regular guys, Larry, they went to Atlanta or somewhere in
Yes.
Georgia, did radio there, and I'm not sure if they're still up to it. But that, and I think may have broken apart at some point. But these people are kind of seared in a way that sitcoms don't sear like these. They become part of your collective consciousness, but they don't really get seared in. Like when I talk to people, they're like, "Hey, I used to listen to Loveline. I'd listen. I had a radio. I'd put it on. My stepdad would tell me lights out, but I'd listen under the covers. And I'm always like, yeah. Hey, there you go. But I'm like, no, you got seared in.
Yeah.
And when the guy was 15, you you made it in like that
It's a young balding Brian.
coach or that best girl or the first boyfriend or whatever, the smell of cut grass
That's
that
right,
makes you think
right
of football practice,
Brings it right
got like I literally I walked out of here an hour ago and I turned out the fence and I smelled this like a sticky bun or something, and I was back at Walter Reed Elementary at the
Cafeteria?
out front of the snack shack, like with the sticky buns coming out, like it just boom right.
When you and
right
Ray would
back.
shake that poor girl down for free food.
Yeah, well,
She knew what she was doing.
the hotties in junior high and at the high school level and beyond, the hotties can't really be compromised. But when they got the big gals back there, back behind the counter, then Ray and Chris could pour on the charm.
Sure.
And they were easily compromised.
I get it.
Like in one of those
They'd swoon. Woo!
one of those spy movies where the debonair spy, the male spy,
Right.
gets hold of the Hausfrau. And like in True Lies or whatever with
Jimmy Lee.
Yeah, the late great God.
Heston? No. True
No.
Lies.
Bill Paxton?
Oh, yeah. Yes, the car salesman. Paxton.
Yes. Just
Yes.
bringing some excitement,
Yes.
although Jamie Lee looked hot in her underpants. But you
But
get
still,
the
she was what is it, anti-adult? Frumped. She was frumped a little bit.
They frumped her up.
Some good news and bad news. Susan Olsen's still with us.
Okay.
Fabulous.
Fantastic.
Ken Ober, not so much.
No longer?
No, he died at 52 years old.
What?
In 2009, he apparently was at home in Santa Monica, and he was complaining of headaches and chest pain and flu-like symptoms. And then the
Jesus.
coroner found that natural causes, but of like a heart disease, basically didn't know he had.
But it's been counted as a COVID death in
Sure.
Los Angeles.
2009,
So the
that's
hospital
right.
can get paid.
Sure.
That's right.
52.
Yeah, I had no
Sad.
idea.
I
I was
had
hoping we could get him on.
I had no idea either. But that show, Remote Control, was a phenom. It was a hot
awesome.
show. Everyone would watch it. It was
That
I
was
don't
the
know.
one with the recliners?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you get pushed back into the wall if you get it wrong.
Oh.
Colin Quinn, like Barry Sobel,
and
Sandler on the early version?
might have been Sandler. They were sort of interchangeable at the time. those two.
and what's her name? The hottie
Margaret
chick.
Quinn.
No.
Oh, I know exactly who you're
You're
talking
gonna
about.
figure her
Yeah,
out
yeah.
Karen
too.
Duffy?
No, I can picture her.
No, you
No,
go. Oh
she's-
yeah,
yeah.
MTV. MTV used to be littered with hot chicks.
Yes.
sort
Julie
of
Brown? Bobby
No,
Brown?
no.
randomly. No, you're gonna know her anyway. That was that. So
Oh, Dennis Leary was on it.
We'll bring in Kato Kaelin at some point. I'll just ask him how was Jack Silver like heavily involved with this? Because I think I spoke to Jack, who was our own program director at when I was at KLSX.
Sorry, Kari Wurer.
Kari Wurr.
Good call.
Yeah. And it was he disavowed himself of that era, but I don't know how. I think he said something like, "Oh, it was before my time" or something. Like, I don't know, like presidents do with bad economies
sure.
or something. Like, "Ah, it's
I
the other
inherited
guy
the,
inherited
I thought
mother love."
Jack Silver and Tom Likas came up with KLSX.
I don't know.
Well, Likas is not represented on that line.
Not on this
Huh.
list.
Interesting.
Yeah, Kari Wurr or something.
What a
But
name.
anyway, real hottie.
Yes.
MTV had a bunch of hot chicks on it.
Oh, yeah.
They knew where their bread was buttered.
Don't forget Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy, yeah.
Oh, they had a litany of hot chicks. Duff, my God.
Oh,
Karen
Duff
Duffy.
was cute. Yeah.
And God, who was the blonde, like Swedish chick with the short hair, like Scholl or something?
There was a Serena Outshul.
Yes,
that's
yes,
it.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, she was a hottie. All right. Now, according to my math, I can bang a lot of them now.
Oh,
Because
right.
you know how it works.
Yeah, up and
I
down.
didn't stand a chance in 1994, but now,
Open season.
open season, according to the laws and the bylaws. So,
Better hurry with some of them.
talk to Kaelin about that. On another subject, I was hearing that Michelle Obama's coming out with another book.
Oh.
My God, they must have back the Brinks truck up because her last book sold 17 million units. So when it comes time
those Carolla numbers.
renegotiate, those are some big-ass numbers.
Holy shit.
And I was listening, and they're like, here's what the new book's going to be about. The last one was called Becoming, and this one is called Michelle Obama, The Light We Carry. Oh. And
inspirational.
Platitudinal.
I've thought many, many times, I've wondered and worried out loud. We're in some weird sort of talk phase of our country. You know, our country was like, got to beat those British soldiers. And then it was like, we got to win a civil war. And then it's like, we got to win World War II, or we got to push the Indians off onto land that they don't want to live on.
You should be a history teacher.
Eat their buffalo. And then we got to win World War I. Then we got to win World War II. And then it's like, someone's got to build a bridge between Brooklyn and Manhattan. And it was a lot of,
Yeah.
And there was a lot of like, let's see if we can fly from, St. Louis to France and without refueling or without stopping on a seaplane or whatever. It's like, we'll get to the moon. We'll get to the moon. We did all that.
Yeah, it's done.
Now we're entering the talking phase of where we're going to sit down and we're going to have discussions about everything. And we're going to have a seat at the table. Everyone needs a seat at the table. Or there could be the table, the breakfast table that we sit and talk about real issues about the price of gas. And I don't know where this table is. I didn't have one in my house. We didn't have those kind of discussions. But it's now getting a seat at the table and talking. And I've always kind of went, I don't feel that that's satisfying to me. I would like to talk about building the bridge or solving the homeless problem or the high-speed rail that goes to Vegas, and then let's get to building.
The talking about should be the shortest part of the whole experience.
Right, but we're now, and it's, got to do with air conditioning, and everyone's got a phone with all the info on it, and a car. Cars don't break down anymore. They just kind of run, and we're just kind of like, I'll pay with my Apple Pay, and we're entering the talk phase.
Everything's intangible.
And it's very attractive to many people in this society.
I'm reminded of something you used to say occasionally. I'm not making any great connection here. I'll leave that to you. But you used to talk about the guy or girl. We all know this archetype, especially in L.A. Always talked about the screenplay they were working on. Always talked about, I got another pitch meeting with Buzz. Like, always talked about what was
in the future.
Going to happen or was in development. It's like yes, these things need to happen, but eventually you need to, the more you've been talking about the book you're writing or whatever, you could have been done with it by now.
What is possibly satiating for half the country is frustrating and infuriating for the half that wants to build shit.
It's definitely satiating. I would say it's more than half.
But that's what I don't understand.
We've been like having an honest discussion about the homeless problem in LA for 13 years. Nothing has been fixed.
But for the person inside of it that is being satiated, I'm generally pretty good at like putting myself in somebody else's shoes, but I'm not getting it because the more I talk about it, the more I would feel stressed out and ashamed. And how do I deliver? But
do we have an ever increasing world of sort of broken people that are trying to heal themselves and connect something, and they just want some healing in my life versus like Europe on $14 a day, or how to build a hummingbird feeder. You know, like it used to be a lot of like how to, like here's what you're going to do now. Sit down. Here's how you feel.
I got a perfect example
and here's why your feelings are justified.
Absolutely. I have the perfect example. I was listening to a news podcast before I came here about inflation and how they don't want to scare people about inflation because it might be a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, like the more you are scared, the more you pull back and you're going to create the inflation.
The only thing to fear is...
Exactly. So the guy asked the expert to break it down. And this is an economic podcast about inflation. And she wanted to give a universal example that everyone could understand about the economy and inflation. She goes, well, let me talk about something that we can all relate to. Let's say say the economy is your therapist.
Oh boy.
And you just got dumped and you're feeling brokenhearted and you say, I'm never leaving my apartment again. You know, we've all been there. And the therapist says, no, don't do that because then you'll never find love. And I was like, this is an economy podcast?
I know. It usually involves eggs or gas or mortgage rates.
A carton of milk.
Yeah.
It was so weird that this was her universal example that we could all understand.
And so obviously this doesn't take long to bleed into politics. And thus, we have Gavin Newsom talking about come to California where you're free to love and free to live without hate. Those weird kind of platitudes about living without hate. I don't know what it means.
He's not been rolled on the street.
Congress is like the early adopter example of let's just talk and talk and talk and
Right.
never actually do anything.
So I told Dawson, and Chris went and ran it down, but what Michelle Obama's next book is about, and here's what it's going to be about.
In an inspiring follow-up to her critically acclaimed #1 best-selling memoir, Becoming, former First Lady Michelle Obama shares practical wisdom and powerful strategies
He's moved.
He's getting choked up.
Yeah.
for staying hopeful and balanced in today's highly uncertain world.
That's nice.
There may be no tidy solutions or pithy answers to life's big challenges, but Michelle Obama believes that we can all locate and lean on a set of tools to help us better navigate change and remain steady within flux. In The Light We Carry, she opens a frank and honest dialogue with readers,
Frank and honest.
considering the questions many of us wrestle with. How do we build enduring and honest relationships? How can we discover strength and community inside our differences? What tools do we use to address feelings of self-doubt or helpfulness? What do we do when it all starts to feel like too much? Michelle Obama offers readers a series of fresh stories and insightful reflections on change, challenge, and power, including her belief that when we light up for others, we can illuminate the richness and potential of the world around us, discovering deeper truths and new pathways for progress. Drawing from her experiences as a mother, daughter, spouse, friend, and First Lady, she shares the habits and principles she has developed to successfully adapt to change and overcome various obstacles. The earned wisdom that helps her continue to become. She details her most valuable practices like starting kind, going high, and assembling a kitchen table.
Oh, wait, saying and thinking everything is racist, right? Is that in there somewhere? Like the time she got yogurt and someone cut in front of her in line because she was black and invisible?
With trademark humor, candor, and compassion. She
By
also
the way,
explores...
on my pecking order of taking cuts in line, I got black women close to the bottom of people I'm cutting in front of. I go elderly Asian women.
Fool me once.
Yeah, long before I get cut in front of black women in yogurt shops.
Is she known for her trademark humor?
I was going to say, Michelle Obama's a lot of things. I don't think are hilarious.
I do not know. It's just this weird gobbledygook of finding your truth and then
shining your
truth
light.
and shining your light. And by the way, this concept of once I shine my light, then the world around me will snap into order. Like, yeah, once I say rinse out a coffee mug, then everyone's going to rinse out a coffee. No, or it'll be a 10-year slog where you argue with everyone. Like, I'm not so sure about the shining the light part. I don't know.
Think she means shining a light on coffee mugs. I think she means your inner light of happiness and positivity.
Oh, so she would talk about like cereal bowls and other things like that?
Right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. You got it.
So,
It just took another
And when I
step.
start living my truth, like it's a weird, I'm a mechanical guy, so it feels very weird to me, but like it feels like just a weird morass of just sort of words about truth. I mean, maybe we blame Oprah for starting this, but
you need to parody your next book cover off this.
Oh yeah, she's in a big cozy
with
sweater, hugging herself. That would be awesome if you did that.
I'm sorry, Dawson, you have any more there?
With trademark humor,
There's more?
candor, and compassion, she also explores issues connected to race, gender, and visibility.
Oh, yeah, like at the yogurt shop
right.
when she was invisible.
Encouraging readers to work through fear, find strength in community, and live with boldness.
Where's the fear? I feel like fear wasn't brought up much when I was younger, other than like jump off that roof into the swimming pool. I don't know. What are you, pussy? That's about our relation. It's about far with fear. Now we're living in fear of others. I love the fear of those who look different than you, which is again, most of the people you seem to come across these days. So it'd be a tough way to get through life.
Yeah.
You're running serpentine to your car because what's that guy doing across the street with that leaf blower? He looks different. Yeah, living in LA, that's a tough putt.
There's a lot less to be fearful about these days. Cars are safer, airplanes.
Yeah.
Everything's safer.
I agree, but in order
we got to create something.
We got to shine that light. She's got to. Here's my point. She's going to sell 20 million units. Who is she selling this to? And then what goes on? I know it's all Yentas, but why? Why does this feel satisfying?
I know what everyone's getting for Christmas.
I used your Spurtle yesterday.
Oh, sweet. What did you Spurtle?
There was short ribs and a crock pot, and I spurtled the shit out of them.
Good for you.
That's right.
Well done.
All right, Dawson, is she done telling us what we're going to get out of this?
When we are able to recognize our own light, we become empowered to use it, writes Michelle Obama.
So we got to realize what our light is so we can shine it on others. But I'm just doing the math. Like if everyone finds their own light and is sharing it with others,
then nobody's special.
Yeah, then what do we got here? I'm getting back to my wow wow lovesy problem. We can't all be the greatest. The best.
A rewarding blend of powerful stories and profound advice that will ignite conversation. The light we carry inspires readers to examine their own lives, identify their sources of gladness, and connect meaningfully in a turbulent world.
It sounds nice.
Yes.
I can't exactly. If somebody said, so explain what she's doing. I don't know, but it made me feel warm and fuzzy hearing it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't even know what the light is. What is the light?
It's within you, and you got to discover it.
But what does it mean? Like, what am I actually looking for?
We all have a light.
You gotta look inward.
Like instant on lighting.
You know
with a light
who
switch?
needs to blame? You know I need to blame?
Who?
All the kooks when they started with the toxins.
No.
Because it's like, if you get a massage, you got to hydrate. Yeah. Because when the massage releases the toxins.
You got to flush out the toxins.
So they got the toxins. Your car radiator. Mm-hmm. Okay, every couple of years you got to flush it out. Why? Because a bunch of stuff builds up in it. And then the motor starts to slow down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it affects the performance of the car. So you got to flush those toxins. That's why you need a cleanse. The cleanse gets the toxins out.
Like one of those butt cleanses? Like
like I'm telling you, my cayenne pepper and cucumber juice.
Oh, right, with the maple syrup and the lemonade.
Flushes the toxins out.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
So I could 10x my life by tomorrow.
They build up. Sometimes the alarm goes off in the morning, right, Gina?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you feel like you don't want to get out of bed, right?
Oh, boy, and how?
Toxins. You flush them.
I thought I was just tired because I'm sleeping.
No, the toxins surround the light. The light.
Oh, they prevent the light from shining through?
How could you shine a light
dim
through the toxin? It's a toxic duvetine curtain that stops your light, which you don't even realize.
No, I haven't found it.
Well, everyone has a light, and everyone has toxins.
Okay.
So you got to flush the toxins, you get to the light, then you read the book, and then Michelle Obama will tell you how to harness the light.
And just to be clear,
once your light goes out...
goes forth.
You ever see Batman?
Yeah, I love Batman.
Okay, you know when they signal Batman with the commissioner?
Signal, yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I see.
So you know the Batmobile?
Yeah.
It's got a radiator. Toxins build up. You need to flush it out. That's why you need cucumbers.
Cayenne pepper.
And
maple syrup and lemon.
Yeah, you need maple syrup. You know how Canadians are all free of toxins?
Shinier.
Yeah. You need that, and then you drink several liters of that a day.
And only that.
Yeah, because you're on a cleanse.
Right.
You cleanse the toxins, then the light comes out.
You see E.T.'s light shining.
I was just wondering.
No toxins.
Right.
I see.
And then
so it's an actual light.
Once the light comes out, then those around you, let's say you're the engineer on a train at night.
Yeah.
A moonless night.
Oh.
And the light was out.
Oh, God. I'd be terrified.
And there's a family on the train. Well, what would happen?
Go on.
It'd be a horror.
Right, but what if you had that million candle power light just beaming your beam of truth down the track?
Then I could see them and not kill them.
Right, and so what the train has an engine, and that engine has a radiator. And the radiator gets filled with toxins, and so you have to flush
The
it
train
out.
engine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So this will literally prevent me from killing a family.
You do the cleanse, and then Michelle's going to tell you how to find the light, and then the light goes out, and then it illuminates those around
And you can all bathe in my light.
Oh, no, because I got my own light.
Oh, okay.
And it's brighter than yours?
It's better than mine?
Well, you said better. I said brighter.
Oh.
I mean, it's alliteration there, but that's...
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the same letters.
Yeah. Anyway, that's
Thank
how
you
you
for
do
explaining it.
Okay?
Ooh. Did
Yeah.
you ghostwrite this? There's a lot of radiator talk in this book.
But again, it'll be good for 20 million units, but I just don't. I get books about, finances and shit like that, or even, how to train your dog or something.
Yeah.
And then there's spy novels you read on the beach. These I don't get,
It's
but
supposed to be
they
some
are
sort
popular.
of a spiritual how-to that never really gives you the
It's a
answer.
self-help book, ultimately.
But
But,
we're out of
yeah.
problems is basically what I'm getting at. All right. Well, if you would like to get a little fitter and not have to deal with the flush and the cleanse and the toxins, might I suggest FitBod? Enjoying the summer? Well, R&R doesn't mean we're going to undo the fitness progress. FitBod's smart workout app that gives you custom-tailored workouts to keep the momentum all summer long. Smart tech replaced old formats for a reason, like Waze versus printed directions. Well, that's what this is, and that's how you'll feel with FitBod. You'll never go back to whatever it is you were currently doing. FitBod's algorithm uses data and analytics to build your best and next workout for maximum results. So you may not be doing the same thing every day. Mix it up. Variety. Spice of life. This is a great app. I use it. It really mixes things up and keeps you kind of from getting bored. Integrates with Apple Watch. You can Wear OS smartwatch and apps like Apple Health, Fitbit. And you get a year of personalized workouts for less than one personal training session. It is FitBod, right, Dawson?
Crush your summer fitness goals with personalized workouts from FitBod that improve as you do. Get 25% off your subscription or try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/Carolla. That's 25% off your subscription or try it free at fitbod.me/Carolla.
All right. Kato and Tom are going to come in here and talk a little gossip, but like I said, we'll get back to those old KLSX days as well. Maybe a little OJ talk right after this.
Adam Carolla's 6th book and audiobook. Everything reminds me of something. Advice, answers, but no apologies. Dear Adam, should you answer, and if so, how, your wife if she says, "If I ever agreed to a threesome, which one of my friends would you choose?" Ray Romano.
She's got you painted into a corner. This is the wife's version of the cop asking, "Have you been drinking tonight?" There's no acceptable response. A cop is not going to believe, "I just had a beer after work," in the same way your wife is not going to believe, "No, honey, I only have eyes for you." Try to avoid the question. But if she insists, then you have to answer, "I'm not going to tell you which of your friends I'd like to have a threesome with. That's just going to get me in trouble. So I'll tell you the one I wouldn't want to have a threesome with. Cynthia. She gives horrible head."
Everything reminds me of something. Available now, wherever finer books are sold.
There you go. Audiobooks coming out in a few days, I think.
Now, that's advice you can actually use.
Yes, to the great Ray Romano. Kato, Kaelin, Tom Zenner here. The podcast, 1 Degree of Scandalous, and you can find it wherever you listen to finer podcasts. Good to see you guys.
Pleasure, Adam. Thanks for having us.
So
to be here.
we got much to get into, but first, unfinished business of the old KLSX days that we were talking about at the top of the show.
Flagship show, baby. That was with me.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was the flagship show.
2 to 4. Who was Jack Silver there during that era?
Yeah, I think so. I dealt with Rob Moore. Remember Rob Moore?
Yeah.
So
Bob
Rob Moore was
Bob
my
Moore.
boss, but Jack Silver, I think, was above that. But Jack, I many times went to his house, had parties. Rob used to throw great parties. And I remember because it was the time was I had no shot. Every day there was a fax coming in like he should be killed. Someone should kill Kato. They hired security for me. They had walk me back and forth to my car. It's all because Howard Stern kept saying, "Get this piece of shit off the air." Until I did Howard's show, and I did it 4 times, and then Howard invited me to dinner at his house, and Howard invited me to private parts, a screening to sit with him, and it was like different meeting in person. I said, "See, you don't want me dead." It's not like talk radio, you know.
God, it feels like a million lifetimes away, right? Just weird what we talked about as a nation on the radio subjects. It seemed in a weird way so innocent and naive.
Completely. My stuff was just, if a Martian landed, what would you feed him? It was not really hard hitting, but it was the best part was reading the facts that came in. I'm not kidding you. People hated my guts, and I'm not used to it. I was this guy from Wisconsin now, prom king and quarterback, and I was like, oh, everybody loves me. Oh, no, everybody hated me. But it was, the unfortunate thing is I got I get paid pretty well. I got a convertible BMW, which was the worst thing to do because the top was down. People could approach me. And I just remember people coming up and spitting on me. And I'm like, honestly, God, and a guy grabbing me. I'm like, Jesus, what's going on here? So I got rid of the car.
They, it's funny. Molly Ringwald, the whole Ringwald family grew up down the street from me in North Hollywood. And Molly Ringwald was the little baby red-haired sister and nobody, nothing. And she had a couple of friends, and they all had these like customized vanity plates that say L.A. Tim or L.A. whatever. Well, her first car, she had said like L.A. Molly on it or whatever. And then she blew up.
Bad idea.
And so now she's driving around with a car with her name on
like
it.
Angeline.
And people are just following her all through the city. So don't get a convertible when you're Kato Kaelin.
And if it says Ellie Molly nowadays, it's not about that.
Yeah, we're talking about drugs.
They're going to come up to you for the drugs.
So, Tom, you... where do you fit into this whole
Good question.
puzzle?
Adam Kato and I go back a few years, and my background is television and media. I'm a writer. I was a sports anchor. Kind of been lucky, been in the right place at the right time. If you watch The Last Dance, I was in the middle of all that because I was the sports anchor at NBC in Chicago. Interviewed Michael every day, did a show with Dennis Rodman. So I was always on the TV path, but a writer. I wrote for Maxim magazine. I used to write some crazy stories for Maxim. Like I did this one called Sports Jerks on Trial, where we took the people that were perceived to be the biggest jerks: Don King, Ryan Leaf, Kevin Brown. Remember him with the Dodgers? And then I interviewed them, and then we rendered a verdict. The coolest was Ryan Leaf. I mean, he could not have been cooler back then. But Kevin Brown made me drive, speaking of Milwaukee, from Minneapolis to Milwaukee to interview him, and then he refused to do the interview with me. So he was guilty. But I've just kind of been involved in a lot of entrepreneurial media endeavors. And Kato, I always knew had one more really big thing in him, and I thought it was a podcast. And I have this 1 degree brand, 1 degree of glamorous, 1 degree of disastrous, these types of things, but 1 degree of scandalous. You get the guy who was involved in the biggest scandal ever. So everybody will be comfortable talking to us. And that's been the case so far. We can talk to anybody because of Kato. He's so much fun. Everybody knows who he is. It's an instant door opener.
Does everyone kind of remember where they were during the low-speed chase
Totally.
and all that?
Overland Park, Kansas.
Oh, yeah, you were back.
I was in the Bay
home.
Area.
Yeah.
Christy, my wife, grew up in Westwood, and she was over on an overpass right over the actual chase.
People were running out into the streets with signs. By the way, I want all those people arrested. I don't care if OJ goes free. I want all the people are running out with cardboard signs. Go OJ, go Jews.
Kato and I were laughing. Where do people get the time to make those signs real quickly?
They could have them pre-made.
Like, OJ's going to kill. We're going to make a sign now. Jesus, OJ.
Kato,
Their signs like records.
I'm saying, now listen to me. Norman Lear celebrated his 100th
Yes.
birthday.
Indeed.
I'm sure there's an obit that is pre-made.
Of course.
Okay,
That's
same
fair.
difference, right?
Okay,
It's the
yeah,
same thing.
I'm with you.
It's exactly the same.
Marcus Allen, Walter Payton, Jim Brown. Come on.
All men of color, Brian. Interesting.
Coincidence.
So no John Riggins in there. Come on, round it out. So okay. So
Mike Allstott.
I was at the courthouse when the verdict came in.
Oh, boy.
K-Rock sent me there to go do it, and it was fucking pandemonium, and it was crazy. The most disturbing part were people like falling to their knees going, "Thank you, Lord." Our prayers
split
like,
screen.
really? This is a lot to build a dream on.
Yeah.
But so for you actually got out. You were in the trial. You were deposed and everything else,
Yeah,
right?
the thing was that during the whole testimony that I had, it was I was down there actually for like 3 weeks because I'm on hold. But honestly, they put me in a room about 3 times smaller than this. It was a closet, no air conditioning. It was just there waiting for my name to be called. And I was sequestered. I didn't know anything that's going on, any of the testimony that's going on. So I kept waiting my turn. And then I finally was called, came out of the closet. Not that way, but L.A. Molly. So I came out of the closet to testify, and I was there for 6 days, 6.5.
Was it now? Was always the story was just to refresh our mind and everyone else's. You were staying in the guest house.
Amber Heard took a shit in my bed, right?
At the OJ at the Manor. OJ was, I don't know, messing around with a golf club or something when the driver pulled up, but there was all this discussion about him going around the yard and dropping a glove and all that. And in your testimony was you didn't hear something or you did hear something?
No, the testimony, the room that I had no windows. It was a wall. And I'm talking to this girl on the phone, deciding if she's going to come over or I'm going to go over there. So I said, hey, did we just have an earthquake because this picture moved in my room? And she goes, no. I said, oh, my picture moved in the room. It just kind of tilted. And I said, oh. And that was it. And then I kept hearing it was separate from his house, but I could hear this ring. And it normally means someone's out in front. So I just came out and I saw that there was a limo. And that was it. Then I saw luggage outside, luggage in the front of the house. And then I saw one bag by the Bentley. So I didn't think anything of it. And then OJ appeared. I don't know where, he just appeared. And then the limo driver, I start loading stuff, and I said, oh, I'll get that bag. So I run there. She goes, no, don't touch it. And that's the bag that no one ever found.
Yeah, so that's
The Louis Vuitton.
the one
Yeah, the Louis
they
Vuitton.
think Kardashian
Yeah.
had dropped off at his house, and then it just kind of disappeared, which is sort of damning evidence, but I don't know what...
You know what's funny is that Tom and I just had Detective Tom Lang on. He's the lead detective, and he was just on our show. It's honestly, and I'm not saying it's to promote our 1 Degree of Scandalous, but it's fascinating that 500 things that he had as evidence was thrown out. It's honestly, it'll blow you away when you hear all the stuff that they had, because we didn't know. I hadn't seen him for 28 years. And it's amazing what the prosecution would not take in. And they never found that bag. And he talked about all the other blood. He talked about, the whole thing. When I said something behind my guest house, that was the bloody glove that became, I said, oh, it's probably nothing, but I thought we had an earthquake. So they found the glove.
Yeah, it was such a crazy time. And OJ tried to flee, which is like another one of those.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, if I get pulled over and a cop says, could you pop the trunk? And I go, yeah, and then I just start running toward Mexico, maybe there's something in the trunk.
It's suspicious.
Well, and that in the trunk was the beard, the gun, $10,000 in cash.
I forgot.
Oh yeah, all this stuff. It's like he's not Michael Jackson. He's got all these disguises, and he said he's going to go to the cemetery. It's like, come on.
What you have? When's the last time you spoke to OJ?
It was in the deposition for the second trial. He had a civil trial also that he lost, and I guess with the interest now it's at $96 million that the Goldmans are never going to probably collect, but unfortunately. And I was peeing in the men's room during the deposition, and I was just peeing, and he walked in. Honestly, the pee stopped immediately, and he goes, "Hey, what up, Kato?" And I honestly, I didn't want to talk to him or anything, and I just finished saying, "Hey," because I'm. I already am doing deposing and saying, negative or truthful things that were negative to him.
How did the whole relationship begin in the first place?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story, I think, first, and then I think you'll dig it. I'm golfing, at Brookside in Pasadena with Norm Macdonald. Norm and I used to hang out a lot.
Sure.
And Norm and I used to golf all the time. And I taught him how to play basketball, basically, which he was awful at until a year later. So we're golfing, and the woman that I'm dating at the time was with Lojo, who I'm sure you know. Lojo is his manager.
Yes,
the woman he's always with. So Norm and I are just golfing. So they come on the golf cart, and the girl I'm dating goes, "Oh, Jason in the clubhouse, and he's hitting on me." And I'm not kidding. I'm going, I totally get it, because it was his probably kind of look. And I said, "Oh yeah, Norm, I don't want to go in the clothes. Just stay out here." He goes, "Oh, he's two behind you now, two foursomes behind us." But anyways, that was, so I never did see him, but he was at Brookside, and I had the goosebumps going, last thing I want to see. He's probably looking for the killers. But the how it happened was that I was in a casting business. I had a casting business with Grant Kramer. He was a heartthrob. He was in Attack of the Killer Clowns. He was on General Hospital. Really good-looking guy. So he and I had a casting business, and when Nicole was divorced, they saw each other on the circuit, this celebrity ski circuit with Hawaiian Tropic. So in Aspen, Grant and I took a vacation for our success that we had. He goes, everybody comes to Aspen for New Year's Eve. Went to Aspen. So we're at Aspen. They lock eyes. So I'm the third wheel on the entire trip. They're just laughing, going out all the time.
Nicole and your partner.
Nicole and Grant are just kind of hitting it off. They're friends from before, so they hit it off.
I've pictures of her. She was strikingly beautiful.
Yeah. So I was the third wheel, but it gets even better. So I'm the third wheel, and I'm at all these events, and there's a show called Dynasty that was on at the time. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
The Dynasty was on. I'm making this woman laugh who I recognize. It's Catherine Oxenberg. And
yes.
So she and I hit it off, and we dated for 3 months, 3.5 months.
Wow.
Little known fact, the princess of, I think, Lithuania. And the K-Train.
The K-Train.
And wasn't her daughter, I just want to...
India.
That's
I
exactly...
I met her when she was just a baby.
Well, she was still with Catherine and not with the Nexium people.
Yeah. So that was
another scandal.
She was just just born. I forgot who the father was, but she was like 1 year old. It could have been.
Oh, Jack Silver sent me a text, said roll calls.
Boxes of briefs.
Could have been me.
Yeah. So, wow, what a wild, bizarre odyssey. But wait, how do you get to the guest house?
Oh, so now I become very good friends with Nicole. And Nicole, I was living in Hermosa Beach, and I'd be driving that awful drive to L.A. every single day, 2 hours. And then when I would work on a movie set, I'd work till 4 a.m. and drive. It was extremely tough for me to go back and forth. So Nicole had a few parties at her house. I said, "Hey, who lives in your guest house on Gretna Green?" So she had this beautiful house there. She goes, "Oh, I'll rent it to you." So we made a deal. I rented it for 6.5 months. Then she moved to Bundy, asked me to move into Bundy, but I said, "Well, there's no guest house there," and I didn't feel right. And then her and OJ started dating again, and OJ already kind of liked me, and the kids adored me. They even named the dog Kato. So OJ goes, "Until you find a place, you can move into my bungalows," and that was the start. He had 4 bungalows, and it was an incredible pad.
Wow. Is
right.
the house torn down now?
The house is torn down. The good news is I still have the guest house key. I offered to Larry King. He didn't want it. The late Larry King. But I do have it in my pocket. I keep it on the keychain.
Jeez, I had a morbid thought, but...
No, go ahead.
I was watching TMZ last night, I think, and I think Buzz Aldrin's windbreaker that he took to outer space sold for like $2.7 million. Wow. If they ever found that murder weapon,
could you imagine?
What the hell would that fetch at some sort of bizarre auction?
Yeah, and remember how many times people said they had the knife?
Yeah.
So many people said they had it, the blood, they found it in a garbage can, but nothing, it wasn't ever the actual knife.
Back to my wife, she went to high school in LA with the Kardashians. She was classmates with the oldest one, Kourtney, I think. Anyway, there was apocryphal, I'm sure, but the story of the rumor amongst the girls at the high school was always Kourtney's got the glove or the knife, the whatever in her in the closet, in a box in the closet. It's just legend. It kept going.
Well, if ratings go down for their show, they can always they need a little bump. I have a funny addendum to Kato's story. I've never even told Kato this. The last time I saw OJ, the weekend he got arrested in Vegas. Vegas.
Oh,
Oh, really?
We were out there. My friend who used to work for Extra was out there all the time. So he was always at the Palms. So we were out there hanging out, having a great time. OJ was filming. He was trying to self-film a reality show. So he had a film crew following him around, and he's coming into our suite, he was kind of obnoxious. It was very bizarre. This was the Friday, and then the next night he got busted.
It was like you got juiced or something.
It's something like that. I can't remember, but he had a little film crew behind him, and it was really kind of sad, to be honest with you.
He dressed as a clown selling the cars.
Yes, because one of the pranks was selling his Forerunner from the.
Yeah. My friend Tom Mabe, who's probably one of the best pranksters, the grandfather pranks, was supposed to be involved in that show. But so I remember that all going on. He's dressed as a clown, then he takes off the clown.
Yeah.
He was doing a version of
in it.
Punk'd
Yes.
or something.
Yes, you got juiced. Yeah, good call, Ryan.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So any doubt he did it in your mind?
No, I said on so many shows, I think he's 100% guilty, in my opinion. But I knew at the first trial, I knew immediately he's going to get off because honestly, you'd walk, when I was testifying for those days, every day that I was sitting there, they'd bring the jury in and the jury would wave and he'd wave back. It was comical. It was like, hey, he's like,
You know, Mark Garagos always said they lost that trial when they moved it to Los Angeles. They should have kept the civil was in Santa Monica, where he probably would not stand a chance. And now they moved to Los Angeles. And some of the jurors, or at least one of them, an older woman of color, was like, look, I guilty, not guilty. I didn't care. It was payback for all the white guys that killed black women or something like that. It's like, oh, okay. She's just saying it into a microphone while she's being filmed, which is weird.
And a juror.
And we're kind of like, well, she got her opinion.
That was part of that 7.5 hour documentary. That was like in the last episode.
Oh, it's the split screen showing the how white people reacted and the black people reacted. It was totally different. It was just like put LA back about 50 years.
Oh, my God.
It was it was a terrible time.
We're also talking off the air about a mixed martial arts kind of fight league thing that you've gotten yourself involved with. That sounds intriguing to me, but I don't know how it works.
I would love to. First of all, explaining it does not give it as much as seeing one of the clips. So we have ex-NHL players, and we did the first one in Edmonton.
Ex-NHL guys, so hockey players.
Yeah, and they go full gear.
You dispense with the hockey. That's just fighting.
It's
really incredible.
So someone becomes king of the rink.
It's a hockey fight.
Literally.
On skate.
We have 14. 14, and we're at a casino. We sell out. So we tried it for the first time, and it went ballistic. Balls out. People from, you probably know Barstool Sports, love it. Pat McAfee is probably he's their best PR for it. For a month, that's all he talked about.
You're doing with hockey what they figured out with porn, which is let's just skip past the part where the delivery guy shows up and she's in a negligee. Let's just go right.
This is
go right to the fighting.
And there is some hitting in the nuts. So it is like porn. So we have a king of the rink. He gets crowned, makes some cash. So now it's just we up the ante, a lot more money, and we have sponsorships. So we have 14 fights and preliminaries. We do the weigh-ins. We do it very MMA style. So the creator's name is Charlie Nama. He played hockey. The guy just came up with this idea. He's been my friend for 20 years. I said, this is brilliant. It's a 10-second pitch. You get it. And you go in and you say this. So we're with Fight TV. You order on Fight TV. Our next one's August 6th, River Creek Casino. It's at 6 p.m., So we do the weigh-in. I'll be one of the announcers. We have Chris Therian, who was 12 years with the Philadelphia Flyers, as the announcer. He's the announcer for the Flyers. Like I said, we have everything's lined up just perfectly, and people go they love it. They love it, and it's an art to be on skates and fighting. It really is. It's an art form, and so most of the guys that are kind of the enforcers when they played the league, they already know how to fight. But most of them now are going to boxing classes, MMA. But they had them. Trust me, it's high energy and the crowd goes nuts. You cannot not love it. It's great, and I'm against violence, but I love this.
Well, and I often use the little markers and indicators of where we're at as a society. Yesterday, I was bringing up the Boyle Heights Bridge, which had to be closed down because people were doing donuts in the middle of that. And I think we've gotten there with sports now. This is an indicator.
Well, you're guaranteed to see the good part.
They close it down. They're putting up speed bumps now.
Yes.
But it's amazing. Anyways, you look at what's going on. When did it all of a sudden get too crazy? When did it just happen? I know I
I'll
really
tell
think
you
part
when.
of this OJ trial.
Some dick said you can't judge in 1999, and they just went, you cannot judge. You don't judge me. You can't judge. And I went, are you fucking nuts? All I do is judge. That's my deal. And they're like, no more judging. And it's like, all right, well, then we'll do donuts on the bridge and every nutty cunt's bringing her dog to the airport. So enjoy, everyone. And the nutty cunt at the airport's going to be wearing pajama bottoms and slippers at LAX. So
I remember I did punt, pass, and kick. That's not even around anymore. Back in the day, I did that. God. I won. I got to the finals. That was like, wow, this is not. There's nothing like that anymore. You can't. Nobody can compete. There's no first place, second place. It's a weakness of America now.
Yeah,
I'm getting political.
Yeah, you're right, and we're coming undone. I would reckon that just beer concessions at the King of the Rink is got to be through the fucking roof. I mean, in terms of groups that drink, I would say just per capita versus like the crowd in Wimbledon, let's say. The mint julep or two, but I mean, more beer consumed.
It's Canada. It's got to be an IV of Molson. And it's just, it's totally nuts. And the first one we had was May 21st, this past 2022.
For people listening, it's a 30-foot, 25-foot by 25-foot sort of rink.
It's an
ice octagon.
Guys in hockey attire and having it out.
Please tell me you call it the Hoctagon.
No. But I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. No,
it's
with gloves.
Ice is war on Instagram. We call it Ice Wars. Ice is war on Instagram, and
it's great.
It's and you know what? You get your frustration out, and like I said, yes, people are drinking. It's a whole drink fest for the entire time we're there. But
awesome.
May 21st, it was our first one, and it was very successful. But I couldn't go because I got married.
Mazel tov.
Thank you, Mazel tov, because it was at David Zucker's house. The David Zucker put it up at his house. The airplane, Naked Gun.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, during my toast, which David loved, I was just saying, David, thanks for giving up a free house. It's expensive, and I especially thank you for not inviting Nordberg. So
I was going to ask if there was a connection there.
Yeah, so he put me in basketball, but David's a Milwaukee guy, so we have a very strong. Anybody from Wisconsin, you normally gravitate to where you're from, and you become friends with.
Well, we'll probably have time for like one story, one scandalous what's going on out there.
Gosh, we had some good ones.
Story.
Yeah, the OJ thing's always a good one to fall back on. We showed the key. Last week we had the pastor who married Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. We were hammering him how much he got tipped. You think he got a big tip?
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think?
What do you think he got?
Well, it doesn't cost anything to get married
Costs
there. So it's got to be
$75. That's all you had to pay.
Right.
And that they rely on those tips. The pastors, right? They need
give
those.
him
From the tone of your voice, I'm going not much.
Not much. I think a few $100.
No, it's not much for
We
that.
pushed him hard, and I think that's all it was. He seemed a little bitter, didn't he?
Yeah,
you got to watch the episode. It's pretty good. Have you ever heard of Benita Alexander?
No.
She was involved in this unbelievable scandal called He Lied About Everything. So it's about this world famous surgeon named one of the top 20 surgeons in the world. He actually came up with this medical device, a tracheotomy replacement made out of plastic, the same plastic he used to make a Pepsi bottle.
With stem cells.
With soaked in stem cell. So he had 8 patients. It was like their last leg. 7 of them ended up dying. Now they're all dead. And then she was a Dateline producer for 17 years. And we had her on our show. It was fascinating. He promised her that the Pope was going to marry them. Andrea Bocelli was going to be there. Oprah, the Clintons, Elton John, John Legend, and it went on and on and on and on. So it's stuff like that. So it's light, but Kato's the great door opener. If he's able to talk about his scandal, everybody feels comfortable doing it, and it's fun. It's a great release.
Panty dropper, but all right, if you want to open a few doors,
that's
you
your
can
prerogative.
do that as well.
He's married now.
Well, one of the great panty
His wife
droppers.
doesn't wear panties?
Sometimes not, yeah. And you know what? She's from China, so I'm in on the whole China thing of what's, from communism, and I'm really finding out a lot about the country of China, of and she's very much, believe it or not, sort of on the very conservative, so I kind of love it.
She's cool. She'd be a good guest.
China, all I ever hear is we are screwed. Lots of Putin talk, lots of Ukraine talk, but we should be having a little more China talk because we are.
How about all the land they're buying?
I say that.
Yeah, they're buying a lot of land in the U.S.
Oh yeah, Bill.
How about just all the goddamn fentanyl that's coming in through the Mexican border that's Chinese? We're so nuts. I think about this on the drive-in. Like someone is like, hey, why don't we call this the Wuhan flu or the China virus? Like, we can't do that. People yelling, people taking people off of Twitter. It's like it came from China. It's killed everyone. They're killing us. Why are we why are we defending them so harshly?
100%. I said that to her, and she goes, "Yeah, you're absolutely right."
Wow.
And that, I saw the Great Wall of China. We saw that, and I said it works because I was there, not one Mexican. So it was that Great Wall.
Them out?
Let me tell you, why don't we have that? It works.
Build that wall.
Jesus.
All right. Well, that's Trump's greatest moment is when that. You got to find that reporter. It's that greatest clip where she's like, why do you keep calling it the Chinese virus? You're going to get people hurt. And he's like, because it comes from China. I realized that's why they hate that guy
Can you
so
imagine
much.
the disdain he's going to have for the media when he comes back?
Oh, my God.
It is good. But you know what? He'll do the interviews. He'll still have the press conferences. He'll just engage with them. He'll just crush them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we had one more really good episode where you'll learn about Tupac Shakur's life being saved by our guest before he was Tupac. It's chilling. It's unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah. Some great stuff.
Well, if we can find that, we'll play it. If not...
But we didn't sign off on that until Jon Stewart said it, remember?
Yes, Jon Stewart had to say that it came from a lab.
Right.
Because, well, like I said, and everyone was like, you can't say that. Well, my theory is, what if this thing came out of Texas and America was running a lab that made these viruses in Texas, and then somebody said, oh, no, it came from an armadillo.
Yeah.
Would I be kicked off of Twitter if I said, no, it probably came from the government lab that made those things in Texas? No, you can't say that. Why really couldn't
offended?
you?
Why would you be offended anyways? Yeah, it's from Texas. West Nile.
I don't know.
It's the Spanish flu.
Well, fighting for China for some reason, but here's the greatest. I love this clip.
The Chinese virus. There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China.
That's why we call it the Chinese virus.
While she's asking that question, you see in his head.
He knows.
You know he cannot wait to say that line. He's just listening to that go, I got this line. I'm gonna.
No, see, everyone else would have done the preamble. Like, I have many Asian friends, and I've always held the culture in high regard. As a matter of fact, I had pot stickers last night. Now, that being said, he just goes, China. Yeah. Because it comes from China.
And Biden can't even say Paxlovid. Biden.
All right, let me hit Geico real quick here. Do you rent your home? Well, you do one or the other. And now it's easy to bundle with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners and renters insurance along with your automotive policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already got so much to do around your home. So go to geico.com, get a quote, and see just how much you could save and how easy it is to save when you go with Geico. All right, let's give some plugs. 1 Degree of Scandalous is the name of the podcast. Of course, Kato, 2 to 4, KLSX.
Tune in.
Remember Ken Ober.
We talked about him.
Yeah. Kato, Tom. And the fight. Let's see. Ice Wars International.
August
That's
6th.
right. All right. We'll take a quick break. Jackie Fabulous, stand-up comedian, is going to be in studio right after this.
Jackie Fabulous on the Adam Carolla Show.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Saw Jackie on Tuesday night at Vitello's.
Yes, sir.
Although I didn't see your set. I was running so late that I was just scattered to the wind. How'd it go?
It was fun. I was second to last. It was good. The audience they were weird to me. I'm not sure why. They laughed, but they studied us while they, I guess, had a good time. But they were very curious. They stared. They were very
eating which is, not
Have
a
their
little
full attention.
unusual.
Yes.
I mean, one thing to have, wings and nachos,
Yes.
but they were eating like full meals.
Fork and knife.
They
Yeah.
were negotiating pasta.
A lot of judgers. There were 2 gay guys in the front row there where I could tell they were judging everyone.
Gay men judge.
Judging.
That's all they do, those
Yeah.
people. Now, I noticed the 2 judgers in front, too.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, but it's true. But at least you're black.
What does that mean?
Please explain.
That I'm used to being judged, clearly?
No. What I'm saying is I got to go out there as the heterosexual white dude, and then I have to look around, and I'll see the gay couple or the black couple, and I'll
Yeah.
go, I wonder what's going to piss them off that I got in my head right now.
Probably
You know what I
really?
mean?
Yeah, the whole set.
The way I do it is I'm like, my way of stand-up overall, if once I get the women, I got the room. That's how I managed to navigate this career. Once I get the ladies, I don't have to work that hard because if their likability is most of my appeal.
My feeling with that audience on Tuesday night,
Yes.
but tell me if you vibe with this, and
All
if
right.
you don't, be honest. I
Okay.
don't care.
All right.
Certain crowds are good, but they don't coast. Some people, you get them laughing and
Yeah,
you kind of
they're ready.
coast them right into the next thing, and then they coast. These people laughed and then stopped. And then you'd have to make them laugh again. Then they would stop. Some you can get to coasting. It's like pushing a car with kind of flat tires. Like it'll roll, and then you stop pushing, and it stops. And then you have to start pushing again. But you can't coast them into the next bit.
This is how I agree. My likability was irrelevant when I began that set. Cause I went on there like, hey, guy, kind of cool. Like, hey, I'm in the, and I could tell they were looking at me like, we don't need any of that. Just get to it. And then I started off slow, and I told myself in my head during my set, turn the energy up if you want to leave with some laughter and some applause. Because I was too cool, and they were not trying to hear the black girl in Tahunga, wherever we were, being cool. Bitch, come here to work. So I told myself in my head, the cool shit is not working. Go for it. And when I went for it, then the set went well. But it didn't go well for the first, I would say, 5-7 minutes.
You sound like you'd be a hell of a poker player. The way you're
I play
reading
poker.
Of course
I
you
do. Texas Hold'em all day before the world shut down.
I did the exact same thing. I was like, I think I need to bring it up a little bit here
Yeah?
because I don't feel them coasting
They were not
with me.
You had to earn it.
Yeah.
Yep. And celebrities in that on the lineup, and the audience was still like, we know you have 11 specials. We don't care. Turn up the energy for everyone.
My thing that I don't know what they paid for a ticket.
I have no idea.
But fuck off because you got Jackie Fabulous, you get Adam Carolla, you get Jim Jeffries, you get
Burr.
Bill Burr. Like what the fuck?
What
It's a
else do you
Tuesday
want?
night.
You got your chicken piccata?
I
$20
have the
and
best
chicken
story.
piccata. What the fuck do you want out of
I
life?
defended you. I forgot. I should have got the tape.
Oh,
my
defend
God.
me.
Yes. I was about to close my set. I said, hey, all right, guys, I got to go. And this table of women right to like the right-hand middle, probably about 5 women. The blonde one was like, oh, God, no. I said, well, how long? I can't be up here. This is not my show. This is our show. And she goes, everybody before you hated women.
Yeah.
And then I said, Jim was talking about how much he loves his wife. All these men love their families. And then I said, do you know Adam Carolla? She said, yeah. I said, do you remember The Man Show? She said, yeah. I said, do you remember his brand? Like around that? She goes, yeah. And you came anyway? You know he's going to be here? She said, yeah. I said, what the fuck are you complaining for? And I got a huge applause.
That was her defense of you.
I got a huge applause. I'm like, you knew and you came anyway. And you're still going to sit here and tell me, all these guys were so like guy-y. What the fuck? You saw who you were coming to see.
And it's a misnomer because I tolerate women. I do not hate.
That's right.
I don't hate women. I just sort
Put
of
up with them.
Pathetic.
live with them.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it was
can do
it
that.
was a great moment. I really enjoyed it.
So you got a gig coming up in Hawaii and Honolulu?
No, I canceled it recently.
Oh,
Good for you.
I know-
That's a power
Screw them.
move.
And you know,
Let me get that
I
off.
went last year and I had a great time, but the tickets are literally like 3 times it was last summer. And I just financially right now, it's just not a good idea.
You talking
for me
about
to go
the
down
plane
there.
tickets?
Yes,
or
the plane ticket just for me.
hotel tickets?
The hotel,
Everything.
I got a deal on the hotel, but they didn't really cover much. The hotel was still more than what they were going to cover. It was really a gig where you got to rely on being a draw. And I'm like, it's hard for me to be a draw in America. Oh, although it's Hawaii is here.
Right.
But you know what I mean.
But it's more of
Far
those.
as hell.
Do you want to
know?
have like a break-even vacation, or are you trying to work?
Exactly. I'll take a break it even in Virginia, but
Right.
not in Hawaii. You know what I mean?
Hawaii is brazenly trying to make up for lost time for the last 2 years. Like my wife and I are going to Hawaii 5 days after your show was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And everything is more expensive.
Yeah.
Everything.
I'm like, I'm not going to break even with the guarantee. So I'm like, you know what? I can't. I love you guys, but I'm not going to kill myself.
Yeah, the guarantee is here's what you're guaranteed. No matter how many tickets we sell or don't sell, this is what you will get to go to that place.
And I'm not on your level yet, so my guarantee was barely the plane ticket. Well, it was actually the plane ticket.
That's a lot of money these days.
And the plane ticket had a comma in it, just so you know. The plane ticket had a goddamn comma in it. So
I had I was watching.
They shouldn't have commas in them.
No.
We're not going to Beirut. We're going to Baltimore.
I like the alliteration. Only paycheck should have commas in them.
There you go.
Exactly.
I do keep watching this like Priceline commercial or something where these two women pull up to check out of a hotel and the one guy goes, "You owe us $129." And then the other guy next to him goes, "And yours was only $99." And then the woman's upset. I don't know what protocol is. I don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if hotels laugh at
More.
people that pay more.
And then hold your cart when won't let it go when you want to get it back. The guy behind the desk wouldn't let go.
I guess it's sort of like they used to do all those commercials when they talked about like you have to pay those bills in a transmission shop, and the guy be smoking a cigar and laughing when she was piling money
And he's shaking his head.
Keep going, keep it going.
Have you noticed, like, flying, the caliber of the passengers have, like, changed? And I'm being nice when I say that. And a lot of them. Everybody got the ability to fly now. That's the problem.
Well, yes. What I've noticed a few things, and I really mean it because I say it in my act every once in a while, but I don't think I said it on Tuesday night. But
Fuck those women.
I tolerate them. What I know, I had this. So we got locked down, and then people got used to kind of working in their pajama bottoms and bathrobes and slippers and stuff like that. And then we opened up, and nobody changed.
Yeah.
They just went, now I'm going to the airport.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you wearing? Same shit I was wearing when I was at home.
I'm wearing my Zoom outfit to Baltimore.
A blazer and board shorts.
I was at LAX at like 7 a.m. on a Friday, like the Delta terminal, and there's people wearing slippers, like fluffy
Fluffy bunny.
slippers and cut off sweats and just a white beater. And I said, it's exactly like I was at a hotel, like a Holiday Inn or some big hotel or something years ago, and they pulled the fire alarm at 4 a.m. and everyone staggered down to the lobby and we're kind of walking around in towels and half a boner and a t-shirt. And I was like, it looks like the lobby.
That's Terminal 1
Delta.
They were like confused. They didn't know where they were. Like, this is a thing now.
Yes. I think a lot of people, myself included, kind of gave up during the quarantine. Whether or not you knew where your job was going to be there or not, you still had this feeling of, I just don't understand the world, so I feel like I've given up. They're bringing the give up feeling to Delta. You know what? You can leave the house now, so go get those pants you used to like to wear.
You know what?
Remember that dress?
I'll tell you what's scary. What's scary about the human condition that we kind of learned from the lockdowns is you take someone with decades of hard work and studying and degrees and promotions and stuff, and you tell them to stay home, and on day 5, they're like, fuck it. I'm putting on 100 pounds and becoming an alcoholic. Like, just all we did was say stay home. Why do you have to become an alcoholic? Because fuck it now.
It saved a lot of lives. I think it probably killed a lot, but also saved a lot of people's lives in terms of living this high stress. Gotta be. A lot of people did die of COVID, and what COVID did to you. A lot of people probably were like, I was going to die if I didn't slow down.
Would have died of stress.
Yes, if I didn't stop this.
How did it hit you? Did you travel? Did you do gigs?
I was home. I lived in LA for 20 years. I moved back to New York October 2020, pre all this. And I moved back into the house I grew up in the Bronx. My father died 5 years ago. It was me and my retired Jamaican mom. And I did not look for an apartment during the lockdown because I was scared. Although the 3-bedroom apartments were $1,500.
Giving them away.
So now that it's over, my next move is to move and find a place. But I've been in my childhood bedroom, set up a little Zoom table, and did that. I did a lot of Zoom shows, like ones that paid well during the quarantine. And when I went on the road, it was the first time I opened for Russell Peters at Tampa Improv, and And then slowly but surely went back to me headlining. But it took the entire, 2.5, 3 years to get there. But my regular club is the Cellar in New York. And that saved me because they were always having shows. They never stopped.
And plus, you got all that cash from the airline ticket you never bought to Hawaii. So you can use that.
No, it's my credit card. I don't know about you, but my credit card does not have a $20,000 limit on it. Once you buy 3 tickets, you're fucked. I got to earn the money back, don't I?
So you were an attorney, right?
I have a law degree from school in California. I am in California now. I did not take the bar. So I can, with a JD, you can practice immigration law. I can help you with federal stuff, maybe some tax stuff, but I cannot help you state by state. I don't have a bar card or a license.
But you can do immigration stuff.
Yeah, and I did contract law at Caltech before I got fired in 2010, and then did this by default.
Oh, okay. So why did you never take the bar?
Fear. Just I have no reason besides just I was just scared to. I did horribly on the LSAT. I'm not a good test taker. A lot of comments got the same story.
But a lot of people fail at the first, even the great Kardashians.
Right.
I guess I wouldn't admit it back then. I can admit it now. I don't want to work that hard if I'm not, if I don't love it. And I guess back then I was kind of like, well, my parents and my family and the world knows Jackie's going to be an attorney. And when I had the jobs that were lawyerish and paid well, I hated it. I wanted to, kill myself at the lunch break. I hated
Lawyer is
jobs.
the number one job that people train for and never make a career of.
It's not law and order. I think a lot of us have a misconception of what the legal profession is. Even grown-ups. Mariska Hargitay, I wanted to be... Remember Ryan's Hope? Remember that soap opera?
Never missed
Lillian, whatever her name was. There was an attorney on that show, and I wanted to be her. I was one of the latchkey kids who grew up on soap operas.
Yeah.
So my professional choices came from that shit.
Mm-hmm. All my children, Falcon Crest and Dallas. I
See?
feel ya. Yeah.
All my children, Greg and Jenny, they raised me.
That's right.
They raised me, not my parents.
Yeah, lawyers, L.A. law seemed pretty glamorous.
Everybody having sex, and it's a wonderful place to work.
Everyone was good looking, fast paced. They're always blowing the lid off of something.
You know the equivalent of that's fake and not Grey's Anatomy. Everybody boning in the supply room. That's not. Don't be a nurse for that. That's not what it's like.
And like yelling, "Damn it, live!" Pumping on someone's chest.
Call it.
Yeah.
Crying.
Time of death.
Yeah. I also feel like almost every cops got that too, though. It used to be sliding over the hood and no time for backup and all that kind of stuff.
It's not that.
It's all paper.
Yelling at guys that are going downtown. So it's a big deal. It's
my collar.
Didn't anyone get arrested in downtown? No one ever went, we're downtown already. They're going down their town.
And why are cops so hot? Remember Jennifer Lopez, Shades of Blue?
Oh, yeah.
I loved it, but I'm like, I have never seen a cop this hot, female or male, in my life.
No.
But the cops on TV are always hot as fuck.
Except for that one that pretended to be a prostitute and fucked me over that time.
Bait
Other
car.
than that,
You should have worn your glasses, Adam. You should have worn your glasses.
of course. You want a date. She's hot. There is a good cop gig, I remember, though, which is undercover to bust Heidi Fleiss's
her ring.
Ranch or whatever.
Ring.
Yes, her high-end call girl ring. There were first off, those cases go on for years because
not enough evidence.
Yeah,
gotta gather some more.
Yeah, I gotta be
really
bold.
sure.
I'll take one for the team, honey. I'm doing this for the family.
They were deep cover,
Yeah, I'm sure it was
showing
deep,
up,
all right.
partying with the chicks, and they were getting down too.
But
And
if you're trying to catch in the sex ring, you gotta get in the sex world, don't you? Kinda?
right. So my feeling is that is.
More you know.
That's the line I'm waiting for at the academy. I'm going to be in that line at the academy, not the you got to go undercover because the Sinaloa cartel is running fentanyl. I'm like, yeah,
So you
not
want
my
sex
thing.
crimes for real?
I'm going, well, this is kind of a victimless
High-end
crime.
sex crimes.
You know what I mean?
High-end sex crimes.
I pose as a businessman. I show up. I meet with Heidi Fleiss. She tells me where the party is. I show up. See Charlie Sheen.
Sure.
Give him one of these.
Hey,
thumbs
brother.
up. You know what I mean?
Major League.
It'd be suspicious if I wasn't drinking.
Right.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
and drugs.
I don't want to be
Cocaine,
made.
too.
A little
All of it.
cocaine.
Fucking
Right.
narc.
I don't want to be
All of it.
made, so do a couple bumps.
Sure.
You know, have a
Molly,
couple highballs.
Viagra, erection for no reason.
Right.
You got to do it.
Yeah, that's my life.
You're so brave.
You thought the law was going to be that way, and it just wasn't.
You know what's funny? I'm going to take a second just for myself. This is a real check for me for success in my job. seeing you and knowing you and being here, you're like Trump to me. Not before everyone asked me to leave. I mean, your name has been like in my mind or in my life or on TV in the media since I was a child.
Wow.
Like, forever. And Trump, unfortunately, I'm 50, he's whatever. He's also that name that's been around in some capacity in all of our lives. It's like you have been like forever. I was at home in my house now as a kid watching and whatever your show was.
Loveline.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. That too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my, you have been in my life in some capacity since I was like 12.
No, this is interesting.
That's success.
It's funny that you brought it up. As I said last night to somebody, I said, something's going on because I was doing my book press and kind of making the rounds.
Yeah.
And I'd show up at the show in New York, Sirius XM or some podcast or something or whatever. And I kept like walking in. They go, "Hey, the legend's here, the man," and I just go, "You know who I am? Like, do you remember me?" And they're like, "Oh, come on, man!" And it just kept coming up.
Yeah.
It just kept coming up, and I was like, I don't have because I was scrambled by my parents, I don't have a clear shot of like who I am or how people perceive me or like I would.
Your background noise.
There's
you're
something
on TV
weird.
for
Yes,
years,
I have the
background
same.
Noise.
I ran into Jamie Foxx at a party 6 months ago, and he goes,
Yeah.
I go, "Oh, it's Jamie Foxx. I don't. Should I say hi?" And he's like, "The legend, the legend." He keeps pointing at me, and I'm like,
someone
"Who?
behind me?"
What?
Yeah.
What?"
Pete Sampras.
Right. With Down
You're
syndrome.
like- you know, you're
no,
like-
I sound like I'm talking myself up. I just
you're
was
not.
saying this yesterday.
Acknowledge it.
I was like, when did this happen? Or do you have to be doing something for 25 years?
Yes.
It didn't happen 8 years ago.
This exists. Like, for example, Sherry Shepherd, another one. I was in my bedroom going to school or whatever, should have been studying for whatever, and instead I'm watching her on The View. Now she's a friend of mine.
Right.
You got to pay attention when your life shifts and people in your life turn from...
Now, we're not going to hang out after the show, but I get what you're saying.
You're not going to say hi to me at the next gig, but I don't
No.
need that. I have this.
No,
enough.
listen, no. So weird that I pointed out, not sure where it comes from. It's interesting how zeitgeisty how stuff works in little patterns sometimes, but
It's a low-key way of saying you also old as hell.
Yeah,
You
sure,
hear
yeah,
that, right?
You're part of nostalgia now.
Yes, you are. You're a thrift throwback.
have a
A
resurgence.
thrifty throwback
That's right.
yes.
to the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I'm always confused.
And you still have hair, and you're still cute.
Oh,
That's really
now
rare.
we can talk.
That is
Now you
rare.
may stay.
I'm just saying, nobody has their hair from when they had their first TV show or whatever the hell you
Oh,
used to
that's
do.
true. The hair goes.
Everybody's hair is gone.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
still have your hair.
Yeah, I have my hair. I had a TV show where I had hair.
Yes, you're not fat as hell.
No, I'm just,
Yes.
pleasantly. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe I deserve a little respect
There
on
you
this
go,
goddamn
big man.
You've
town.
been
Come on,
around
hold your
forever.
head high.
Anybody over 30, and I lived in LA and New York, you're part of the, what is it called? The zeitgeist?
The zeitgeist.
Yes.
I have my assumption is that I should introduce myself to everyone because they would have no idea who I was, and let's play it safe. So it's weird, but I realize I have this theory. Let's put it to the room.
Okay.
I put together this theory a while back that you have an idea of how the opposite sex views you that gets sort of cemented in about 13 or 14.
Yep.
And it's kind of based on your mom and your dad and what they
Brian Bishop.
what they thought of you. You know what I mean? And so my mom didn't like me and didn't really want me around that much. So if there was a young lady, I'd be like, well, it was a math. It was like, if your mom doesn't like you, then why is this strange girl named Stacy? Why would she like you? You know what I mean?
point.
So you get a viewing, you get a snapshot of like show. Conversely, these assholes, Todd, who are like short and don't have much going on, come walking in like they're the fucking belle of the ball.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Stacy's going, that guy must know
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you're going,
Yes.
he doesn't play sports. He's not tall. He's not ruggedly handsome. Like, how does it work? It's like somebody made him feel attractive. His mom, the first opposite sex person, made him feel good and attractive. And now he's carrying that momentum into Walter Reed Junior High.
Yeah.
I didn't have that, and then I sort of carried it into show business. Like, it'd be a lot of like, why would that person want to blah, blah, blah.
You're absolutely right. And this is I haven't thought about this in a long time, but I grew up with severe body dysmorphia, but the opposite way, because my parents were always telling me I was gorgeous, I was perfect, and nobody else was on board.
Well, they can't overdo it. They
Yes,
can be overdone.
Right,
There is a reality aspect to what Gina's saying, because in the not Brian Bishop era, I was very, very popular amongst the moms. Like the
Yeah,
other moms were
right.
like, oh, please take my daughter. Like would say to me semi-jokingly, please take my daughter on a date. I'm a fucking nerd. Put my picture up. I'm a fucking
Jack,
nerd.
you gotta see this.
Glasses and braces, just a balding. It's really at 13 years old. So I knew where I stood. No girl was interested. And maybe the moms
Yeah,
were
there's
You know
something
what?
to that.
I think I have a revenge relationship. That's probably where I'm listening to you. I'm getting married in November.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I think top 3 of the reasons why I love my guy so much is that he's hot. 'Cause I think prior to him, and we were taught, get the good guy, the nice guy, the one. And I've always been either bored or cheated or almost cheated. This is the first guy where I'm like, he's hot as hell, and that's I'm leading in with that. And I'm very
That's
happy
refreshing.
because
That honesty's refreshing.
having to being a good girl, making the right choices, it can be very boring.
Yeah.
He might not be the right guy. He might be the bad boy. He's the bad boy that
Always
I
the bad
converted.
boy. Sure.
And I'm okay with it. If it falls apart, I am 50. I want to fuck now. Can you say that?
Yeah, of course. You converted a fuckboy?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think I
girl,
did.
the unicorn, the white whale.
But not fuckboy in terms of treating women badly. Just a guy he's been told he's hot so long, I
Yeah.
think, and he's out of my league hot, and I purposely chose that
I
or
love
kept in
this.
contact with him, and I love it. But prior to him, they were cute, but they weren't what this dude is. Ooh. And I'm having a great time.
Well, all right, let's
Speaking of
continue
hot,
down
put up
our
my picture.
weird psychological
It's you. Let me look
Oh,
at
you'll
it.
see.
path here.
No.
There you go.
Oh,
The moms loved him. The moms.
All right, so
Yeah.
can we agree on this a little bit then? For women, for girls, society will kind of dictate whether you're hot or not, or how you feel about yourself oftentimes because, look, you could not argue with some of the girls I went to junior high and high school with. They were just good looking and everyone knew it, and guys would gravitate toward them. It wasn't about them building up the self-esteem or the courage to go over to the boys and talk. It's like, you look good. Guys will.
That's why I chose funny.
Make it clear. I did the same thing. So, but with guys, it's a lot more open to interpretation, and a lot of that is how they feel about themselves. So if you feel invisible at home, then you're going to be hard pressed to take that lack of momentum to the campus and score.
You date where your self-esteem is. I think that's where you
Yes.
are. And,
Yes.
and these days I feel pretty, good about myself. So it's easy to attract a hot dude if you feel hot.
Yeah.
And in this business, I know that I'm not going to be called to audition for anyone's hot girlfriend. Or I'm going to be the chubby fat girl or chubby girl and the sidekick. The Melissa McCarthy or the Gilmore Girls is how they see me. Once you realize that, because there are a lot of girls who are like, they don't realize you're not going to be the girlfriend ever. And they're like, well, why can't I? I'm like, because you're not the hot chick. It's okay.
We've talked about, though, the guy that's maybe not the best looking or even close to it, just has that charisma. In college, Brian O'Rourke, not the chubby guy, big guy, fucking chicks around him all the time. Good looking chicks. He's had a great charisma.
Yeah. Well, there's also the part where if you get one hottie, the rest will fall in
that's
line.
true.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Like work begets work. Once you're busy with something good,
It's the
the
Pete
good things
Davidson
keep coming.
effect.
Yeah.
The Pete Davidson effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
yes.
totally get that. I don't know why everyone's so confused by it.
Oh, tell us.
You don't get it?
I mean, I'm Jewish.
he's a
I grew
cute
up
young
with
dude.
around a lot of dudes who look like him. It doesn't do anything for me.
I've heard for a long time that not only is he really he's funny, naturally funny, he's nice.
Yeah.
And a really nice guy who looks like a badass. That's a nice combination to have. Looks like he might rob you, but you will
picture.
laugh so hard during.
My theory with him is, first off, boyish kind of wins over manly a lot.
All the time.
Women love boyish. Most of the guys that were always heartthrobs were sort of had feminine features and
course.
In middle
boyish
school,
features.
all the guys the chicks liked were all twinks.
Yes.
Well, think about your
Yes.
Jared Leto's and your,
Yes.
very pretty.
He had to work on building a personality.
Right.
Davidson, I'm sure. He had to work on being
Yeah.
interesting.
There's an element of boyishness which women love. They love the I'm going to fix you kind of thing. And he's all self-deprecating. It's like, I don't know why I'm on SNL. I should go home and kill myself at my mom's house. And everyone's like, oh, no, honey, let me blow you and suck some self-esteem out of you or into you.
We've all done that. I've done that.
There's an element of I need to be fixed and a boyishness, which he definitely
I think
appeals.
all men need to be fixed. I've never heard of a man who didn't need something to survive.
It wasn't turnkey.
And the girl help him out. You all need help in so many ways.
True.
Because this guy, my fiance, is the first man I've had in my life that knew and knows his father. Every man prior, no daddy to be found. This is the first one where him and his father are cool.
They ain't a white guy then, huh?
No.
What? Oh,
you know
Asian?
that poverty is way bigger and worse and whatever in the white communities, the white poor communities. There's more daddies gone there. I'm probably sure.
Certainly. Well, maybe not statistically, percentage-wise, but by numbers. Yeah.
Yes. But overall, I know a lot of white guys who don't have fathers also. The daddy thing is very common.
Well, it's, to take a turn for the serious, it is really us coming undone as a society. Us going, we're a woman, a strong woman can raise a young man and whatever. And we've pushed kind of guys. We've made it noble to be a single mom, and we've decided that they're heroes and dads and their toxic masculinity have gotten kind of pushed off. Like there's been a real societal effort to kind of diminish the dad's role. Yeah. And if you want to go down to the Boyle Heights Bridge and see all the fucking assholes doing donuts on it and graffitiing it, I'm going to show you a lot of kids that didn't have a strong dad in the house. And the general just undoing of our society could be charted with dads being kind of shoved to the side of society. Fuck all of you. You guys are nuts. And by the way, the chickens are coming home to fucking roost. People are fighting, having fist fights with cops. They're fist fighting on airplanes now. They're doing donuts in the middle of the street. They're fucking twerking on the hoods of cop cars. This is all dad. This is all your utopian. It takes a village. Dad, strong mom. Fuck you. You're ruining society. I don't know what happened. It used to be dad and a mom. Fine. Sorry. Other than that, no thoughts.
No, it's okay. I understand. I'm sad at what LA is now because I'm here visiting just for the week. I go back on Monday. I go to Vegas on Monday, then back to New York. But when I was here, I would be able to go do a set at the Improv and park my car God knows how far away.
Right.
And walk back. And now everyone who's here, they're like, it is not what you left, Jackie.
No.
LA is very dangerous. Don't be too sparkly by yourself. Don't be alone at night. Don't park too far. It was never this way when I was here. I'd be like a sunflower dress, and a gold halo and walk down La Brea for 6 miles. But now it's different. So crime overall, and in New York, I'm not a subway girl anymore. I Uber and Lyft everywhere.
Subway's scary now.
The subway was such the way to go. Even if it was dangerous, it was. But it wasn't what it is now.
It's getting insane. Look, you just go to prison, ask everyone where their dad is, and then do the fucking math. When did this become a plan to sort of nudge dads off to the sort of peripheral of our society? It's fucking retarded.
It's probably an overcorrection. I'm sorry.
No,
Yes.
I was just thinking you're right. And the other side of that coin, I just saw somebody talk about this on Twitter, which I thought was interesting. When guys like go, oh, she has daddy issues. Ugh, she has daddy issues. And it's like, why? So the dad neglects the girl and then we make fun of the girl?
Right.
That's right.
Daddy Issues, name of the new club.
That's like when you're fucking around with somebody who has a woman, a wife, or a girlfriend, and she finds out and she wants to have you killed. I'm like, I'm sorry, but it was a two-person effort.
Yeah, you're mad at the wrong
I've heard. I wouldn't
person.
do this. I love the Lord.
Yeah. I think there's a cultural thing there. I think Whitey blames the guy, and the black chicks blame the chick who was cheating with, which I appreciate.
Which is
by the way, I want to be
toxic.
kept out of the mix.
It's all toxic.
You
Are you
two
married?
settle it.
I thought you had a family. You're not married?
I have a family. I'm now getting divorced, so
Oh, I'm
don't listen to
sorry.
anything I have to say.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Preface it.
Yeah, me too. But, such is life.
Say love
I'm
me.
divorced. Is it your first divorce?
15th.
So far.
I have one under my belt. Everyone got to
used to
try
it.
it once. Anybody who hits 40 and you don't try marriage at least once, I don't trust you.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got to make a commitment and take a risk at some point. You hit 40, no wife or husband history ever, something wrong.
Do you have kids?
Interesting.
For kids, I don't mind because kids can happen just because you're just living your life. But to make a decision to be like, I'm
With
not.
someone coming on top of you. Though.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
look, semen is very slippery.
Do you have kids? Is what I'm saying.
I don't have
Oh,
kids.
okay.
There's no reason why. I was one of those kept putting it off for life to be perfect, and then next thing you know, my eggs are like, "You're crazy." You know, we don't work
that
anymore.
uncomfortable conversation with your eggs. Huh?
Yeah, I did. I had a GYN named Dr. Cox in LA. And then and I made jokes, and the nurses were like, "We've heard everything."
Oh, you gotta know.
I bombed in the office, but when he was in there poking around, he did look. His head dipped down and popped up, and he goes, "You don't have any kids?" I said, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "You better hurry up."
Oh,
Wow.
God.
I've never had that happen before.
These motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I know these guys just don't know.
Yeah, I had a urologist named Lorena Snatch, and I tried to, but they'd
We've heard it all before.
You're asked to leave.
I
they'd
know.
all heard it.
Sir, please.
All right, let me hit a spot, and then we'll roll into some news with Jackie. Concrete. Your body makes half the creatine it needs. The other half comes from your diet. Most American diets are low in creatine-rich foods. Concrete, patented creatine. HCl is a favorite creatine of elite, well-informed athletes. The number one bioavailable creatine and the only microdosing creatine. Just one scoop per 100 pounds, so I just do 2 little scoops. I've been drinking it all morning. It tastes good. You whip it up with a frother or put it in the shake bottle. Creatine is required for functional energy, and every cell in your brain uses about 20% of the creatine in your body. So let's get it from Concrete. Am I right, Dawson?
Take control of your health, both body and mind. Build a better you with Concrete. Register now at con-crete.com/podcast. That's con-cret.com/podcast for a chance to win a $500 Walmart Visa gift card. Available now online and in-store at Walmart. Concrete is truly life-changing and performance-enhancing.
All right, Jackie's going to hang with us. We'll take a quick break, come back to do the news right after this.
We have some breaking news that broke during the show. Jackie, this isn't going to affect
The
you.
Leave It to Beaver kid's still alive.
Tony Dow came back. Oh, rest in peace. No, this is going to affect us, though, here in Los Angeles County. The county will not be reimposing the indoor mask mandate for now, after COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations appear to be trending downward, and the region may soon move back into the medium community level. Public health will instead strongly recommend masking indoors, but it will not be required.
Okay. So the crazy cunts would strongly recommend we do what? We're not listening. You guys have proven yourself hysterical fucking crazy cunts. We're no longer listening to you hysterics anymore.
I'll tell you the cities you should give an attaboy to, because Beverly Hills, Pasadena, Long Beach, and El Segundo already said, we're not enforcing this no matter what you say.
the people stop. As I said, look, if there's one thing I've learned over the last 2 years, as the great Nancy Pelosi said about people burning down bookstores, people are going to do what they're going to do. So you got to find that clip. It always makes me laugh. But the point is if they shut the beaches down and everyone goes to the beach and there's not a fucking thing they can do about it, on the other side of that sword is if guys are going to take over Boyle Heights Bridge and do donuts on it, there's really nothing you can do about that either. There's just...
Oh, like you back to the bikes again?
We'll just do what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So do not listen to these people. Do not mask. Do not stop going to the beach. Do not stop doing this. And magically they'll... Because they don't want to admit they have no power, they'll go, we've decided not to. Yeah. You decided when we told you as a society, we're done listening to your haggard old asses with your non-fucking science. Go fucking ruin another society, bitches.
I'm probably sure I had COVID about 8 or 9 times.
8 or 9.
At this time, you'd ask me, I would just do the shoulder shrug.
You probably have the antibodies.
I don't know. I've never gotten a positive test. I only get tested when I had to for entertainment. I wouldn't just wander into CVS on a Tuesday.
Right.
if I didn't have a sniffle. Yeah.
Well, you're going to Vegas too. That's I was there a few months ago. It's just it's a lot of activity.
There's no rules in Vegas.
No.
Once they say you don't have to do whatever, we're back to wearing jorts and walking around in 800-degree weather. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been tested a bunch of times, but only for TV shows and whatever projects. And by the way, I was thinking about it this morning. Somebody came here, Chris, was it Monday, and tested me? I don't know what it was for, but the point is...
Was it anal? Was it an anal swab?
You know, I was
Yeah.
suspicious
That's
because
why
like
you-
normally I
Monkey
get to
box.
keep
That's why you don't remember,
my
you blocked
belt
it out.
down. But
It's a trauma response.
it's now at the point where like I go like, I'm going to the job. All right, well, they're going to test you in between shows. I just go, yeah, all right. I don't even ask what it is or what it could be.
No.
That's the best attitude.
I like when they come to your house, like when it's a fancy show and they have the concierge. I'm like, oh, this I'll have COVID for this. This is nice.
And they've also they've gone from balls deep to just the tip.
Yeah,
They're-
true.
that-
Yeah, we don't have to do that anymore.
That's
yeah,
what he
they're
said.
not. All of a sudden, there's some sort of booger technology
Yeah.
breakthrough where they just go in a little bit
Just swipe
now.
around the
Wouldn't
nostril.
any wetness from a human be enough? Why would you have to get my membranes? Wouldn't any
for
moisture?
some reason at the beginning, they're like, we need to know what she's
eyeballs.
thinking.
We
Tickle
need,
your
yeah,
brain.
we need to touch eyeball.
And now it's like, no, just get a little mucus down at the
They're
bottom
right
there.
here. It's not-
Yeah.
it's not.
Or a little cheek swab for the kids.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they do
Should
at school.
request.
That's right. So.
Oh, we have
yeah.
Pelosi. This
Oh,
is
good.
somebody asking her about rioting
Sure,
or
right.
Black Lives Matter or something. She
Again,
had
if the community doesn't want the statue there, the statue
Oh, it's the
shouldn't be there.
statue.
I don't care that much about statues.
Respectfully, shouldn't that be done by a commission or the city council, not a mob in the middle of the night throwing it into the harbor?
People will do what they do.
She sounds like you. You just
So,
said that.
A group of people shows up at a statue with a rope and skateboards and tears it down in the middle of the night. This
What are we
guy,
gonna do?
shouldn't we vote on this and have the city council like we're moving?
Is that a racist figure? Is that why they turn it down?
That's the idea.
I don't know.
Oh.
Well, everything is racist now, but
You know what I mean.
the point
You know
is,
the real
is
racism, Adam. Don't act like you don't know.
she who is in position of power is like, nah, people are going to do what they're going to do.
She's tired. She can't monitor all this shit. She got
All
shit
right,
to
but
do.
here's all I'm saying to the city. All right, I'm in California. How about I add a room onto my house
Can't do that.
at my own expense
Can't do that.
without pulling a permit?
Slow your
Fucking
roll,
old crazy
friend.
bitch. How about
Yeah.
I do that? Because I'm going to do what I'm going to do, right?
Yeah.
A lot safer than tearing a statue down.
Nancy's like, our president doesn't know what day it is. I give a damn about a statue.
That's right. She's a gem.
Well, let's just do a quick breeze by on this fucking idiot. The 21-year-old accused of shooting up a 4th of July parade in Chicago was indicted by a grand jury on Wednesday on 117 counts, 21 counts of first-degree murder. Since his arrest on July 4th in Highland Park, he's been
Oh, you say
behind bars.
Chicago. Is it like outside of
It's
Chicago?
Highland
Suburb.
Park. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The shooting killed 7 people, injured 35 others. He's scheduled to be arraigned August 3rd. What do we do with him? What is Illinois'
Yeah,
stance on this
kill
shit?
everybody.
But does Illinois have?
No.
Oh.
The death
You know,
penalty?
there's something. There's a case out here about a guy, and he killed a couple of, I think USC or UCLA
I've heard
students.
about this.
USC, I think Japanese
Yes,
exchange
Asian.
students.
Yeah.
He just kind of executed them.
Right.
And then they gave him the death penalty because he executed these 2 guys, and something that no one really thinks about. He was in prison for about a year as a waiting trial or whatever, but he killed a prisoner while in prison because
The ultimate death penalty.
if you're there
Yeah.
and you're not
That's what
going
you
anywhere
do when you're in prison. You
You're
try to kill
committed to
your
killing.
friends.
and you're a killer, one more reason to kill them in a expedient kind of way, because they can kill guards and prisoners, and they can do all sorts of shit, write books and stuff from in the joint, So let's kill him.
Be nice.
That's my plan.
Nice.
Chris Rock is finally
Kill
talking.
him!
Oh,
Aw,
no.
come on.
I don't care.
Excuse me. I'm allergic to that kind of talk. He's finally talking about the Oscar slap a little bit. He was pretty quiet about it, but at his stand-up shows in New York and New Jersey over the weekend, he told the audience that it hurt when Will Smith cracked him in the face. At one point, he said, "I'm not a victim," and added that he shook the shit out of him. It shook the shit out of him when he went to work the next day. "I didn't go to the hospital for a paper cut." At Saturday's show with Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle at Madison Square Garden, Rock said, "Anyone who says words hurt have never been punched in the face." And then Kevin brought out a live goat on stage and introduced it as Will Smith.
Oh, the goat. Yeah.
Oh, these guys, they're so silly. These guys.
The problem with GOAT is Muhammad Ali fucked it all up because now we got the greatest of all time, and then
I'm
the
so
GOAT
sick
was
of
the
this
guy who
fucking
lost the
Just
game.
tweeted this yesterday. Bill Buckner was the GOAT.
Yes, the ball went between his legs.
He
He
lost
was a
the World
goat,
Series.
and now
Game
it's
6.
the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
So we bring the goat out.
The worst and the best.
Because I was watching some of that on TMZ, and I thought they brought the GOAT out because, like, Dave Chappelle is the GOAT. Like, he's the greatest of all time or something, but I don't know.
The message got muddied.
No, because clearly Eddie Murphy is the GOAT. Why would we? Why is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well put.
That's
we
my
can't.
opinion.
Yeah, but he's not the GOAT like Bill Buckner was the GOAT.
Over Richard Pryor.
Richard was amazing, but Richard was
For your
amazing
money.
because he was very troubled. I'm going to lose a lot of people.
You got to
No,
pick
he was-
one. You got to pick one.
My opinion.
Yeah, sure.
My obsession is Eddie. That's all. Eddie and Adam, clearly.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome. And then don't get me started on the initials LT
Now,
in the
LaDainian
NFL.
Tomlinson, please.
Yes.
Wait, who's the other LT?
Lawrence
Lawrence
Taylor.
Taylor.
We already had a fucking LT. You can't do another LT.
He had an LT
Oh,
earring.
didn't he play
He had an
football?
earring. It said LT with a
football
lightning
player do?
bolt.
Yeah.
He meant it.
And Jordan. Okay, Jordan or LeBron. GOAT.
Oh, yeah, you got to go Jordan. I mean, when in doubt, you got to go whoever did it first,
Steph
you know.
Curry.
Okay, Whitney
Yeah.
and Mariah. GOAT.
I try not to support
God's
African American
sake, Adam, you are
entertainers,
the
but
worst
I'm gonna go. I'll go
party game
Whitney.
player.
I'll go Whitney because
Okay.
the thing about Whitney, where do you find that voice in that package?
Yeah.
I mean, no one ever forgets about it.
Gorgeous,
It'd be like if
angelic.
George Clooney was the greatest opera star of all time. It's like, are you kidding me? How
Yeah.
do you look like that and sound like that?
But
Yeah.
Mariah can do the whistle tones.
That's true, but she's too into herself.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whitney was-
no one's vain in that business. You're
And you know what I liked about I liked about Whitney?
what?
You don't normally see skinny people sweat that much.
Well,
She could work up a
'Cause that's
froth.
crack.
that was jogging.
I don't care. It's like saying those titties are fake. Still want to fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Not Whitney's.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is she was a big time sweater.
Yeah.
I was a head sweater.
Yeah.
And
You
I
can relate.
can I
Stars, they're just like
What
us.
can I identify?
Whitney died because she tried to do too much. What was she? She was a singer. She was an actor. She was a wife. She was a mom. She was a drug addict. She was an
Yeah.
alcoholic.
She should have dropped one of
I think
those.
this is
She
the
died
last
because
two.
she was
Yeah.
exhausted. That's why she passed away. You can't do all that shit in this one lifetime.
Yeah.
She got a show in Vegas. She's a hologram. This bitch is busy.
Yes.
And she's been dead for years.
I know.
You know who love that I said that? Mateo Lane. You know who that is?
Yeah.
Yes, I do that joke with him like at lunch and he's like, Jackie, please say that in public. And I'm like, no, people will hate me. People don't like jokes about Whitney. And
Yeah.
like
I know.
black people, we don't play that.
It's off
Oh,
limits.
interesting.
Yeah, but I'm like, but see how you loved it? I gotta work
I
on it
thought
and
it
not
was
be a
funny.
pussy.
I
And do it on
represent-
stage.
Look.
I'm scared.
I say this modestly, but I do represent the white community, and I can tell you we like that joke.
Making fun of black people? Get out of here. It's
No,
weird.
I'm saying if you're black and you represent the black community, you're a fucking hero. But if
Yeah.
you're whitey and you say it, you're,
You're David
Klansman.
Duke.
What the
Oh,
fuck?
Whitey,
Yeah.
why you get whiter and whiter the longer we say it
Thank
here?
you. Les, I told you I
Nobody
love
said
Whitney
whitey,
Houston
Adam.
because she was a sweater.
Yeah.
Okay, she was on drugs.
But Adam has said in the past,
I don't care.
and I hope you still stand by this, that
Yes.
Whitney was touched by God with her
Yes,
voice and
her
her look.
ability.
Gifted.
Yes.
Even if she couldn't sing for shit, just look at her.
All right, you wanted to bang Whitney Houston. We get
Yes.
it, Adam.
Right. You
It's a
and De
long
Niro.
way to get there.
No lube with all that sweat.
Ew. Have
Remember-
respect for
Oh,
Mr.
now
Brown.
you're judging my jokes?
Yes, she is dead. Mine was so much worse than what you just said.
I know. She's the goat.
She is
In
the
a
goat.
good, not the Bill Buckner
goat.
goat.
The
Good
acronym goat.
Good goat.
The acronym goat.
Well, there was all this tribute, to Paul Sorvino, and we're, everyone
The goat?
said he's
I thought
passed
he
the
was
goat.
dead. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, he just died? I
Yeah.
thought he'd been gone.
Brand new. He died on Monday. He was 83, natural causes. But one video is getting a lot of attention now. It's not even remotely recent, but it's sort of prescient, and it makes us love him more.
The Oscar one, that thing?
The Golden Globes.
Oh, yeah, I
It's
remember
it's this resurfaced clip, unearthed, of Sorvino calling out Harvey Weinstein. This was like a couple. This is
yeah, I
2018.
remember.
Probably because of his
that.
daughter.
Yeah,
right?
and this was like KCAL9 clip at the Golden Globes, and it's already been shared like over 130,000
I haven't
times.
seen this.
Yeah, here it is.
It is reprehensible beyond description
Weinstein.
that women have been treated in this manner. When you've had a phenomenal mother like I had, you are automatically a feminist. That's why I have this wonderful wife. The reality is that anyone who takes advantage of women should be publicly strangled, and I'll volunteer.
I would blow him right after this interview.
Thank you.
That is blowjob worthy.
Yeah.
To completion. To completion. Anywhere. Outdoors, movies. That deserves it.
And just blowjob to completion. Any, sack action, digit dropping.
Blowjobs in public. You don't have time to work on the sack.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, public.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Make it fun.
Get it done.
Yeah. Get it done.
Okay.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Between that and the clip of him bawling during Mira Sorvino's speech, he's the man.
Yeah.
We love
what
him.
a dad.
Yeah.
Honorable fellow.
Yeah. Let's talk about a dad who's not so honorable. Wednesday's court hearing went in Britney Spears' favor. And what was that about? The judge agreed with her attorney. Britney will not have to sit for a deposition, which her father had demanded, because he will be deposed. The judge hinted that Britney's longtime business manager at TriStar may have to answer questions under oath. A decision will be rendered at the hearing. Now, here's what we're talking about. The New York Times documentary controlling Britney Spears revealed that the conservatorship spied on Britney in her room with recording devices. They tapped her cloud account. They tracked her Google searches. They were listened in on her phone calls on her iPhone. TriStar executives Lou Taylor and Robin Greenhill may have intimate knowledge behind the scenes about how her room was secretly bugged. Yeah. So she couldn't drive. She couldn't have boys over like she's 10 years old. And her everything was being watched at all times.
What? Was it because they were worried she was a danger to herself?
I think was the excuse, but
as a child, we're not
talking about child. We're talking about a grown woman with two kids. I mean, the adult version. I'm just saying that's how you treat a child. That's not how you treat it. Because daddy wanted to know everything.
Paid off like a broken slot machine.
That's right.
Ugh. Seems so weird.
But and I don't know if you've been following this, if this is a TMZ thing you've been noticing. Do you follow her on Instagram?
Oh,
yeah. She looks like she still needs supervision.
Yo, it not only is it super fucking weird, but very cathartic for her. She calls everyone out, like she hates her mom, she hates her sister. But then all of a sudden, the tone changes, like somebody else is writing
weird,
this.
Girly voice, doing a lot of naked dancing.
I mean, she is mentally ill. I mean, that's the whole point of all this. But she's mentally ill on camera, like live streaming, and we're all like,
she's, according to TMZ, getting together with Elton John.
Yeah. They're going to do Tiny Dancer.
She also might also have a lot of legit gripes over the years, and she's using the eccentricity to let all of us know how her life has been shit.
Yeah.
Besides being successful.
You're right. And it's also weird how her voice has changed, because now she sounds to me like Katharine Hepburn, but like if Katharine Hepburn was 25 and still had the shakes. Have you noticed? That I'm Britney Spears, and I believe that I have been wronged in many ways.
Hadn't she always sounded like that?
No. There's like a tremor to it now that I didn't hear before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
She could be off medication as making that start again or start for the first time.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Oh, she'll be okay, because I do like her music.
Yeah, she's...
she did work hard for a long-ass time, for God's sake.
Yeah,
she has been busy for a minute.
She put in the hours.
And that whole
she
time,
put the time in.
And much of that time she was working, the money was bypassing her and going to her dad. And she was like...
And still and having kids and shit. Like, she has been busy.
It's very, very weird.
For God's sake.
I think that there's going to be more coming out about this. Like it's not just a throwaway story.
I'm in the K-Fed camp. I like that Popo Zao song.
Do you remember Popo Zao?
No. That's all
Kevin Federline?
I got a little bit of shelf space for everything in life, and all I got is Federline and Popo Zao, and I got no more in the bookshelf for him. Just that.
The reason why I don't trust this business. Remember her ex-boyfriend, the one that she married in Vegas?
Jason Alexander.
Showed up at her wedding?
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's got to be set up to be news, to be media. Otherwise, I think they paid him to do that.
Ooh.
So she could stay in the mix.
Interesting. Well, not only that, but didn't they end up saying like she didn't know who the wedding guests were going to be at the wedding? Like in her Instagram,
pictures were hilarious.
Oh, they're amazing. But it was like Demi Lovato showed up and Madonna surprised
Nicole
me.
Kidman and I are so close. She don't know anybody that was there. They just showed up. It was a PR people.
Very weird.
We need some stars.
They stocked the pond.
Madonna was there. What has Madonna? Madonna ain't talked to Britney since the MTV appearance.
I know. I don't. It feels so counterintuitive to me. Like at a wedding, and they're like, it's just for publicity, and I'm like, really?
Stars needed the pictures for the gram. You go to Britney's wedding for the gram.
Yeah,
that's the point.
But Instagram.
Yeah, the gram.
Not like cocaine or something. I don't know. I'm old school.
Well,
I'd go
I'm
there
black.
for
Cocaine
coke.
is your thing.
But you guys got crack, right?
Oh, not what if you have a good job. Not well, you know, yeah. Well, no, yeah. Remember Whitney said crack is cheap?
Yeah.
In her interview?
That's right.
The more money you make, either you don't admit it or you stop doing crack. And you get better stuff.
So Brittany does seem mentally unstable, but her dad seems horrible
But
at the same time.
He cashed in on it.
Yes, it's also weird. It's just one of those, man, I guess everyone's miserable, no matter how blessed you think they are.
Yeah. Oh, that's the whole point behind it.
And I don't.
Her life is perfect.
She has to film herself dancing in short shorts or naked or something, and then put it up, and then Elton John.
And then she was pregnant, and then she wasn't.
Yeah, suddenly
it's like,
she
girl,
wasn't.
the last thing you need to do is get knocked up. So,
Well, because that was the other thing. They made her put an IUD in. Wait,
they
is it an
didn't want her
IUD?
Yeah.
Improvised it. No, that's an IED.
Yeah.
They made her put that in, so she
Yeah.
couldn't get. So I think she's just trying everything now.
Her mother and father, I feel like down the line, whether it's soon or years from now, will have charges against them.
Yeah.
Because you can't just record people whenever you want for however long, whatever state they're in. A good attorney should be able to get that.
Well, you should know.
Attack that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
There's something in there to argue that you can't just record your kid, whatever it's got to be. You got to dig.
Yeah.
Find shit.
Yeah.
She's still probably paying KFed, right?
For
for
alimony
what?
or for child support?
Alimony,
be,
child
yeah.
I don't
support.
know.
He don't seem like he's doing very well. I'm sure
I
he
don't
needs
know.
it. Have you seen him? It's rough.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does he put the weight back on?
He's chunkier, yeah. And he was a hot guy.
I know.
He was cute.
I get it.
I got it. I understand why she wanted to fuck him constantly and have kids all the time. He was very attractive.
Was he a dancer?
Yeah, he was a backup dancer.
Oh, I kind of forgot where he came
even
from.
hotter. I get it. I totally get it.
Okay.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Get this piece of shit off the air.
Gina That was the news with Gina Grad.
Popo Zao.
Oh, boy.
It's sad that that's in my head.
It is.
There should be some sort of flushing mechanism where you could go, I just want to get certain things out of my head.
Yeah.
And Popo Zao at the top. And
Big
then
old list. You get an old boy style re-education.
I might put like Latinx and other things that people try to get me to say over the last. And
Latinx.
Latinx.
Do you think... I'm sorry.
No, please.
No one could even figure out whether it was Latinx or Latinx or what the fuck it was. We listen to Popo Zao?
Unfortunately. Wasn't it supposed to be like a Brazilian phrase or something? Oh, Portuguese.
Adam, I have a question. Are we on the air?
Yeah.
Do you think the man show would be made now? Could be made now?
It's funny. Everyone says to me all the time. And they would ask me. It was a question that keeps being asked, and I go like, oh, I don't know, maybe we're swinging back the other direction. But I now just answer it this way. They go, you think you could make the man show today? And I go, I could. I told
in my
him to suck
basement
my
with some
dick.
cameras.
I'm not sure Jimmy could. He's got a job. He's gainfully employed.
Who do you think they'll replace James Corden with?
Oh, they're going to replace him with somebody?
He's leaving, and the word is that they're...
Tell us.
I didn't hear about
Break the news.
No.
What? Don't you work in the entertainment industry?
I used to, but I was watching James Corden last night, just kind of watching him
you
going,
guys know he was leaving?
No.
No.
I didn't
Yes,
know.
he did, because he
he's
had the television
going
and the
back to
internet.
England.
What the hell? What are
Where's
you
he
doing?
going?
You guys didn't hear about that?
He's leaving the job. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He didn't know he didn't know he'd be doing it so long. He loved it, grateful, blah blah blah. But he wants to do other things.
Who are they thinking about replacing him with?
Don't know. Of course, if we're all on the. You got to be a woman. God damn it, a woman.
Yeah.
Or somebody of color. But we're trying to push for a woman. Chelsea Handler seems to like might want it.
Show just
Samantha
ended.
Bee's show got canceled also.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as long as it's a woman of color, I
Samantha
can
Bee,
sleep
there's
at night.
nobody of color in here. Oh, you mean to get the job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But she's got to be a sweater.
No, it could be a
I
woman.
like sweaters.
It could be a woman. Why
Yeah.
do you seem like you're on board and you always deviate?
I said a woman of color. Then I can.
Just a
I can
woman.
rest.
Just be on
Oh,
our
just
side.
a woman.
Just pretend.
All right, but
Can you
she's got to
fake
be a
it?
big sweater.
Can you
That's what I
fake
think.
it? Fake support for women?
I've heard James Corden is a douche. That's all I know
heard
about
he's
the
a
man.
douche?
I've never met him. That's all I hear.
Okay.
For the multiple people from multiple stories. But it makes sense because anyone who's super nice on the air is a douche.
Yeah. Me and
Jimmy
Brian.
Fallon is very nice in real life.
That's right. And Letterman wasn't that nice on the air and was a douche off the air.
Consistent.
Yeah, so at least he's got that.
Did you know? I did a Tonight Show twice.
Oh, you did?
In a year. This last year, I did it twice.
Wow.
Was Fallon nice?
Yeah, he's amazing. I'm in love with him. He's fantastic.
I heard he was he doesn't sweat enough for my liking, but he seems like a super likable
I know years
guy.
ago that would have mattered. You know, a comedian does the Tonight Show twice. She's probably going to get her own show.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, but now they're like, oh, that's great for you. Anyway, what'd you have for lunch? I know, it's different.
What are your TikTok numbers?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, because now it's like, I did the Tonight Show 2 times. Oh, well, I did the Who'd You Fuck Lately podcast. And it's like, that's just where we're at.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird world.
Yep.
Yes, I did Tonight Show twice and Adam Carolla's podcast. That's a very big deal.
So it's a slow slide downhill.
Listen, when you get older, you go, oh, I did the Tonight Show with Leno. Where you go like, oh, yeah. That's now. Because it used to be, oh, I was there with Carson was there. You know,
and
now
if you did it
it's
with
like
Carson,
Leno.
you're probably dead now.
And Letterman a couple times. So it's like, yeah, it's good. A little walk down. Yeah, I should be referred to as a legend more often.
There you go.
Yes.
All right, let me hit Jordan Harbinger. Last but not least, there's the Jordan Harbinger Show, a different kind of sponsor for this episode. The Jordan Harbinger Show is a fan of fascinating podcast with interesting people. You should definitely check it out. There's an episode for everyone, no matter what you're into. Jordan takes, he'll talk to Scott Adams about persuasion in a world where facts don't matter anymore, or go inside the dark world of wildlife trafficking. You always find something useful to apply to your own life, like routine changes to boost productivity or slight mindset tweaks to change how you see the world. We enjoy it. Jordan's been on the show. We've done him. He's done me and Dr. Drew's show a few times as well. So you're going to like it too. Search it out. The Jordan Harbinger Show. That's HARB as in boy, IN as in Nancy, GER on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to finer podcasts. Jackie Fabulous
You are
is
cute
not.
on this cover of this book, Adam.
Oh, thank you. That's what
You are attractive
Photoshop
as hell
is for.
here.
The,
You look like Borat.
I put ooh, I like that guy.
And very young. They did a great job.
They did a great job
You
of
look young
putting
as
me
hell in
together.
this picture.
Well, it was taken a full 9 months ago, so, you know, it's been a lot of hard living ever since then.
I'm taking this and you're going to sign it.
Take a book. Don't bother going to Honolulu if you want to see Jackie Fabulous.
No,
but
I'll be at the Comedy Cellar in Vegas August 1st to the 7th.
JackieFabulous.com. I think
Yes.
you can go and find her.
Yes, but the reason I'm here, I have a comedy special that came out July 5th.
Shit.
And a comedy album that came out July 7th.
This is all
from
my
Comedy
fault.
Dynamics. It's on Apple TV and Amazon and YouTube and Google Play.
Menoplause.
What the hell I'm here for?
Sorry, that's all my bad. I highlighted
don't
it
care.
and
I'm
then
having
skipped
fun.
right past it.
a
Available on
legend.
Apple TV.
You can get it on my website, JackieFabulous.com. I'll give you my album and my special.
Perfect.
Come see me in person. And I got to meet a legend. Who cares what I came here to promote?
Oh, my God. And Kato, Kaelin, and Tom Zenner. Until next time, Sam Carolla, Gina Gradenball, Brian saying mahalo.
So we tried it for the first time, and it went ballistic. Balls out. People from, you probably know Barstool Sports, love
Yeah.
it. Pat McAfee is probably he's their best PR for a month. That's all he talked about.
You're doing with hockey what they figured out with porn, which is let's just skip past the part where the delivery guy shows up
to the
and she's in a
chase.
negligee. Let's just go right.
This is
go
and
right
also-
to the fighting.